Hello, and welcome to this episode of Good Morning Source Gaming. I am your host, Nantenjex, and let's go see how Phantom and Shadowlink are doing. Or I guess it's just Phantom at the moment. Hello.
What's up? Good morning.
Good
morning,
morning,
gamers.
How you doing? What you have for breakfast?
I'm eating breakfast right now.
Yum yum yum. What is it though?
I'm eating fried egg, bacon, and French toast.
Nice. I
Yeah.
just had a muesli and yogurt with a coffee.
Oh,
Coffee's
what?
the coffee is the main part of the breakfast.
What's a muesli?
It's like oats and grains and stuff. Like it's not cereal, but it's basically cereal.
So oatmeal?
Yeah, it's not a warm like oatmeal is. It's like a
Oh, okay.
Swedish type of breakfast. It's usually like a lot of it's like a cold oatmeal dish, let's say, because I'm pretty sure it has oats in it, and then you put fruit or yogurt or whatever on top of it. Some people put milk in it. I just tend to put yogurt in it. It's my healthy breakfast so that I don't eat so much bread because I love bread and I have bread in like every meal and I shouldn't because bread makes you fat. So,
Bread makes you fat?
yep, bread makes you fat.
Oh my gosh.
So I have good old muesli for breakfast. But all right, Matt's not here yet, but he will be soon. So why don't we kick off? Actually, before we kick off with our usual, what are we playing? I'm just going to put a little forewarning out here. I have a new computer. It's great. It
Hey.
doesn't crash all the time, which is wonderful. However, stupid me, thought that there would be a Wi-Fi card in the motherboard, and there isn't. So I need to buy a Wi-Fi card. So currently, I am streaming this through wired connection, which is fine. Like
Hey,
my
nice.
connection's pretty good. However, I do have a bad tendency of sometimes just yeeting the Ethernet cable out of its ports, which isn't great. So if the stream dies at some point, you know why. I'm going to be extra careful to not go near it. But it's happened to me before. It happened to me yesterday when I was playing a game online. So, whoops. But I'll very quickly put it back in and jump in before hopefully the stream dies. Oh, looks like Matt's here.
How does one yeet a cable in the back of a computer?
It's not the computer
Wanna kick
side.
it, I
It's
guess?
the other side. That's the part that gets yeeted out.
Oh,
It's
Oh.
because the wire sort
holy
of
fuck!
precariously goes from the wall behind me, like around my chair and then around my desk to the back of the computer. So to my down to my left, I have a wire that's way too long, just sort of curling around itself. What I really should do is sellotape it to the wall. They didn't want me to sellotape stuff to the walls in my place, but I might just ignore it, just so that I can get it stable, so that I don't accidentally get it with my leg or the leg of my chair.
All right.
Yep. But yeah, just thought I'd put that little warning out there to start with. Oh, it looks like the chat isn't showing up. So while I sort that out, it should just be a refresh. Phantom, what have you been playing this week?
Honestly, not much.
Ooh.
I was having computer problems where my computer kept blue screening.
Oh no, that's
So
not
like,
good.
okay, let me contact Windows support, Microsoft support, and they were like, have you tried it in safe mode? And it's like, yeah, it's working. So it's like, okay, so clearly it's something. It's not like a.
Mhm.
It's not. It's something the issue, but it's not something that like it can be fixed. It's not like a virus or anything. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
And so then we tried tested some stuff out, and we were like, okay, well, let's just reinstall Windows. Moved all my important files um off of my stuff off of the main motherboard SSD to my other hard drives that I have. And I was
You're sort of dying on us, Phantom. Say that again. Oh, is he dead? Has he has?
am I
Yeah, you're going. Oh. That's how you sound to us. All right, and he's gone. You back?
this
Oh, well, I think we can hear him.
it's always
No.
Oh,
Yep. No, that's not working out. All right. Well, you sort that out, Phantom. Matt, you take over.
All right. So for a bit, my friend joins call,
Mhm.
playing Sonic the Hedgehog, released in 2006 for the
Oh.
Game Boy Advance.
You what? Hold on a sec. You what? Sonic 06
So,
GBA.
yes. So,
Oh, right. You mean the actual Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis game on GBA?
yes.
Right,
Sonic
okay.
the Hedgehog.
I was thinking someone ported Sonic 06 to GBA, and I was
No.
like, what?
No.
How does that work? Oh, okay. I've heard terrible things. Go on.
It was apparently the first time they have ever finished Sonic 1. So that's a fucking experience.
Oh boy. And how did they find it?
It was pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the most comically bad ports I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The game slowed down to a crawl, specifically every time they were drowning in Labyrinth Zone. And it turns out that the reason the game runs so slow is literally because of the sound, because there's a setting to turn off the background music
Mhm.
and the sound effects,
Mhm.
and doing that makes the game run at near full speed.
Wow, not even full speed though, near full speed.
It's still a little stuttery, but it runs better.
I mean, that's just one of the issues this game has, isn't it? Like super zoomed in, so you
Yeah,
can
there's
barely see what's coming up.
there's hella screen crunch. It's
Yeah.
the final boss is actually hard now because you can't see the ceiling come in
Oh no!
unless you're constantly jumping.
That's not great.
What
Yeah.
Sonic game are you talking about?
Sonic
Genesis.
the Hedgehog for the
Genesis?
Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Oh
The
god.
port of the first Sonic game. Yeah, Hitani says in the chat it plays like as if the PAL version has 2 other levels of PAL below it.
That's great.
Love you that inconsistent 30 hertz.
All right.
But-
So because my friend decided to play Sonic the Hedgehog, released in 2006 for the Game Boy Advance,
Mhm.
I turned on Sonic the Hedgehog, released in 2006 for the Xbox 360.
Right, okay. Which one was the worst of the two?
I don't know. I'm still playing it. That's a video game. That is a bona fide video game.
Yeah. 2006 wasn't a great year for Sonic, was it?
2006 is the best year for Sonic.
I'm trying to think. Have you beaten Sonic 06 before?
Yes,
Okay, you have.
of course I have.
I don't know, some people only know of it through osmosis. Like,
I'm
I've
cultured.
beaten it before. But, yeah, I mean, when I played it, other than the loading screens and the desert level, which can go fuck itself, I didn't have as many problems with it as people had, but I think I have a very high tolerance for complete broken bullshit.
Bro, I went 3 rounds on Crisis City. 3 rounds of like 8 lives each because of the fucking tornado section.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, actually.
I was actually screaming.
Oh no.
This game's fucking awful. I love it.
It is tragically bad. Tragically bad game.
Oh yeah. I at the beginning of the game, I game overed on Wave Ocean Mach Speed, and then realized the game doesn't have autosave. which I
Oh,
think happened to me last time I played too.
You didn't learn.
Well, that tornado's carrying a car!
I looked it up, and Sonic Rivals and Sonic Riders apparently came out in 2006 as well. So Sonic had a very busy year, and it wasn't great overall.
I
Apparently,
think Sonic Riders was good.
I've never played the original GameCube Sonic Riders. I've only played the 2 sequels on the Wii. Or was it 2 sequels on the Wii, or 1 sequel on the Wii and 1 sequel on the Xbox?
There's only one on the Wii.
Alright, yeah, I've only played the Wii one then. Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, that's the one. I kind of like Sonic Rivals. It's not a great game by any means, but I think it's like a fine game. I like collecting stuff, and that game has like collectible cards of everything from Sonic's history, which I just always like picking up.
The Quiet Man is in a pantheon all of its own.
This is what someone asked you in the chat. Is
Yeah.
all right. Well, Phantom, now that you're back, what have you been playing?
Can you hear me good?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
now.
Okay. So, as I was trying to say,
Mm-hmm.
as I'm chewing French toast, is that my computer was blue screening.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't really play much when I was at home because I also started working again as an like outside job. So it's like, okay, don't have as much time anyways. And I haven't been bringing my Switch with me.
Mm-hmm.
So basically to go through the story of my computer blue screening constantly, contacted support. It was working in safe modes. I was like, okay, let's just do like a clean reinstall of Windows.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was doing the install, it kept stopping and crashing. So I was like, okay, maybe it is a hardware issue. Because one of the things that was suggested early on was that it might be a memory issue. But the thing was that in safe mode, nothing ever happened. So I was like, okay, this is really strange. So open my computer, take out all the memory. So I put back in the original one that came with the computer, and it worked fine. Finished the Windows install. I was like, okay, nothing's wrong. Okay, turned it off. Put in the next memory stick that because I bought, I think it was a Corsair. I think it was 16 gigabyte. I think I bought. I put one in. It works fine. Okay. Put in the next one. It also works fine. So I guess just for some reason, on that before I reinstalled Windows, something happened in my previous Windows 10 where there was like a very specific hardware issue caused by the RAM that I don't even know. I can't even begin to explain what caused it or what affected the RAM to start messing up, specifically just the RAM. Because it wasn't, because I also tried just to make sure my files didn't get lost accidentally. I also took out my other hard drives that were inside, and the computer just worked absolutely fine. I was like, okay, whatever it was, it's gone now. So now I've just been like reinstalling all of my games. The only thing that not reinstalling plus making sure like Steam and Epic Games recognizes all my games, because even though Steam has an option for like, oh, you have a library in a different location, we can recognize that library and all your games will be loaded in. Okay, great. Epic doesn't have that.
Oh no.
At all. Epic doesn't have that still. What you have to do for Epic Games is that you have to install the game where you want it to install. Actually, no. Say for instance, if you have something like Strangers of Paradise downloaded, like I did, what you have to do is rename Strangers of Paradise, then install Strangers of Paradise for like a second through Epic Games so that it recognizes that it's trying to do an install. Cancel that install, then delete the new folder that it made. Go back to the old folder that you already had. Rename it back to the name that it's supposed to be, and then resume the install. And then it'll verify that it's, because like it recognizes that everything in that folder is already downloaded. So it's just gonna verify the files at that point. And it's like, why not have an option put in? Like I can understand why Xbox doesn't have that, because the games are encrypted. So it's like, okay, it can't do that. But it's encrypted based on a computer, I guess. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Steam already has that. I'm pretty sure itch, a game platform, a mostly indie game platform that is available even through Epic Games has that. So why doesn't Epic Games have that? That's very it's quite infuriating how behind Epic Games still is. Um, so yeah, that was annoying. But other than that, I haven't really been playing anything. I played some Strive when the new patch got dropped. My character, so bad guy, got nerfed a little bit, so I gotta find new combo paths to still get like the same things that I got before, and just trying like new cancels and stuff like that to keep up the damage and shit. As basically, I really have not just been playing anything, but I am considering playing Final Fantasy 7 because of things that we will talk about later.
Yeah, no. Ozzy, I think, is trying to offer you tech support in chat.
Well, I mean, my computer's already fixed now, so.
So I haven't been playing much either. I mean, I spent the last 2 days trying to build my computer and then do that laborious process of moving everything over to it and re-downloading stuff. And then Photoshop was having issues with the new GPU, and so was Premiere Pro, and so I had to speak to like Adobe and figure out what was going on because they shouldn't have been. And then other software I've got is having problems, and I'm just very slowly working my way through fixing everything. While also trying to get videos done, because next weekend I am in London seeing Red Hot Chili Peppers, so I need to make sure I get any Source Gaming videos done before I go down next Friday. So that's also been my other focus. So I've also not really been playing much games out of the usual gachas that I play, like Mario Kart Tour and Fire Emblem Heroes. Although on the topic of Fire Emblem, I have finally freed myself from 3 houses by beating the Blue Lions route.
Congrats.
Which is
nice.
So that's 3 out of 4 routes done. I probably won't ever do the Golden Deer route because it's just too similar, and I already know that Nemesis pops up at the end. So, and that's really the only difference. So forget it. I can't be bothered. Blue Lions route was definitely the best route though. I can totally see why. It's interesting because I know a lot of people thought that, and even I was thinking about it, that they did the Blue Lions route first, but apparently that's not the case. I found an interview where they said that the church route was the one that they made first.
Are true?
Yeah, because like the one thing they knew at the start when they were deciding the story is that there were going to be they wanted the sort of basic premise to be around people who go to school together and then have to go to war against each other when they're adults. Because it was sort of inspired by what Genealogy of the Holy War did, with Sigurd, Juan, and Eldigan, who are like 3 friends from academy that then are forced to fight because their countries go to war. But then they also knew that they wanted Edelgard to be the villain, like right from the start, and so they did that route first, the church, because that was the initial one that they had planned out. And then
so Edelgard unironically is a villain?
I mean, yeah, Edelgard, I mean, I don't mind spoiling this because 3 Houses is like 3 years old now and the new game comes out on Friday. But like the big twist, at least if you're playing the Black Eagles route, is that Edelgard is on the villain side. And so like
really,
yeah, so there's a 4th split, and it's if you get your support high enough with Edelgard, then you have the choice when she's revealed to be the villain that you can choose to side with her instead of the church, and then you fight on their side instead of fighting against her.
Do you get like
what?
Oh no, it's happening again.
It's happening again, but you don't get her back if you choose to side with her. Then you get her and Hubert back, obviously, because you've sided with them. But if you don't choose to side with her, then both her and Hubert always stay as enemies. And you fight Hubert like 6 blooming times. He just won't stop showing up.
He is the dark mage.
He is the dark mage of this game, yes.
But could I like win with Edelgard?
I mean, yeah, you can choose if your support's high enough.
Yeah, you can play the bad route
to side with Edelgard. It's the shortest route in the game. Ironically, though, it's the only route in the game where the last boss actually feels like it makes sense to what's actually happening.
That's not true.
That is very true. There is
no,
there is no reason for the church route's final boss to happen.
Oh no, the church route final boss sucks, but the Blue Lions one makes sense.
No, it doesn't really.
Yeah, it
No, it
does.
doesn't. I mean, it makes sense that it's Edelgard, but it doesn't make sense that it's jet plane Edelgard.
No, you see, Edelgard is a complete hypocrite. She has been for the entire game against a group of monsters who want to rule humanity, and she becomes one because she does actually not care.
But my problem with this is that the game, just like Rhea going insane in the end of the church route, makes literally no attempts to even justify this happening. It just sort of goes, Edelgard goes, oh yeah, alright, I've got an idea, and then just suddenly becomes this out of nowhere. And then you just take her out of it, and then she dies anyway. So it's just kind of like...
what you're talking about. Hold on.
It's just like... There's no real build. Like, I knew she was going to do it, but the first sign you get is literally a chapter or so before where someone goes, oh, they're going to invade the capital, and she's like, right, I've got an idea. And then she just becomes this huge fucking jet plane, basically.
It is out of nowhere, but it makes sense for her character because, as I said, she is a hypocrite.
She is a hypocrite. I also feel like a lot of the hate against her is slightly unjustified. I'm finding this a lot. There's a lot of hate towards like Ingrid as well for some of her supports, and I find that really overblown now that I've actually seen her supports, having finally done the Blue Lions route. And there are a few characters like that seem to be like memed into being like worse people than they actually are based on how the game portrays them anyway.
I just looked it up. Wow, this design.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, what?
Does she still turn into that if I like side with her?
No, if you side with her, she doesn't. She only she only turns into that in the Blue Lions.
And I'm out here gonna go play the worst.
If I side with her, will Manuela still like me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm playing this game! Oh my gosh, I played that route. I am absolutely playing that route.
Manuela will join you in any route.
What? That is so cool! I played this game for real now. I'm okay with playing as a guy now because I get to be evil and I get to have the best character design in the game.
No. You're not evil.
You're not.
When you play the route where you side with Edelgard, it changes everyone else in the game to be evil instead of you.
I don't think it changes everyone else to be evil. I don't think Dimitri doesn't do anything that would be seen as evil if you side with Edelgard, and I don't think Edelgard changes drastically.
Sorry, let me rephrase. It changes everyone else in the game to have you as the hero.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I think.
Well, I mean.
I think that's story... overblown. I think I feel like the only real difference is that you don't really work with those who slither in the dark very much if you side with Edelgard. Whereas if you don't side with Edelgard, then she's sort of forced to work with them to stop you.
All right. Because Edelgard I will say Edelgard's later design with the horns actually looks really cool. I actually do like that design. So I was like, okay. But Dimitri also looks very hot. So I was like, I couldn't decide who to pick. But I get to be evil technically.
I mean, you get to be Nazi adjacent.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
You get to be a fascist, I suppose.
I don't want to do all that. I just want to be evil. I don't.
Mean, it depending what is evil really depends on.
Well, do other characters actually die if I kill them?
Well, yeah. I mean, as long as if you don't recruit them,
that's every route.
Yeah, character.
I mean, that's the other students.
Yeah, if you don't recruit them,
okay, that's cool. Yeah.
The church route is the only one where technically everyone can be spared except for Edelgard and Hubert. They're the only two that effectively have to die in every single route, other than the route where you side with them. But
what are the comments saying about me right now? I feel like I'm getting. Some very evil
Yeah, I
comments
mean,
against
some
it.
people being like, Edelgard herself isn't evil, but she's working with the bad guys. From the side of the evil guys, I'm sure everybody else looks evil as well. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. I mean, yeah, they do make a good. They have a good reason for why the church is being evil. The reason that Edelgard's route is the worst is because it's the only route where they don't actually deal with the bad guys.
Okay.
They're like, oh, we have to side with the baddies to deal with the other baddies, but then they never deal with the actual evil people. So it's just like, okay, it feels like there should be one or two more chapters onto the end to actually wrap up the story.
The Blue Lions route is hilarious because you kill the bad guys by fucking accident.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that when I was playing it. I was like, oh, he's dead now. Okay. I guess this doesn't matter. You never even get to see him transform.
Honestly, those guys suck so much, I don't even care.
Yeah, no, they're pretty bad. It was really funny with me because I had I'd done the DLC, so I had the Chalice of Beginnings, and the Chalice of Beginnings lets anyone counterattack from any range. So like, I just had Dimitri hold it, and then whenever there was stuff like people with like long range magic attacks like bolting, I just move Dimitri as the only one into there, so it forces them to attack him and they die. So there's a part of the final stage where there's one of those Slither in the Dark people called Myson, who like when he dies, like half the troops just run away because they're like, oh fuck, we don't want to die. So I just did one turn, killed him with Dimitri because he can attack across like the map, and it was just like, well, that's half the army dealt with.
I spent the entire fucking final map like strategizing, moving all of my units to the perfect place so that none of them would die. This is sounding like it's baby mode.
Yeah, it helps with the start. I mean, that mission is still the hardest mission, but I also have a tendency to split my team in two and just had them take like half a side each. And so like there were parts where my weaker side was definitely falling behind. Unfortunately, it doesn't work against Edelgard in that mission because she can attack from anywhere on the map as well. I really wished it did, just so that I would take her out from the other side of the map. It would have been really funny. But alas, it does not. But anyway, that Blue Lions is now done, so I'm all ready for Three Hopes on Friday, which should be good.
Happy birthday.
You know what else is on Friday?
Your birthday.
Your birthday.
Yeah, wow.
Woo. You got any plans other than playing Three Hopes?
I'm gonna get sushi.
Yay!
Oh, let's go.
Good. Make sure they put a candle on every single piece of sushi you get.
I mean, there is sushi that has like burnt stuff on top, so
yeah, there you go. See. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the first set of topics. So I've got an order for this. We're going to talk about the actual games that were confirmed first, before we then move on to our speculation. So let's start with good old Final Fantasy and Square Enix. So Square Enix had their Final Fantasy specific showcase, which I guess is more like the Final Fantasy VII specific showcase.
Oh yeah, 25th anniversary.
Yeah. So, and they showed off Part 2, gave us a trailer for the Part 2 of the remake. They also announced Crisis Core is getting a remake / remaster, whatever you want to argue it's called.
It is. I think the press
called it a remaster.
Yeah, called it a remaster. It's very clearly not a remaster though. That is very clearly like a remake.
I haven't played the original, so I don't know what part of it like.
It's a remaster. All of the animations, from what I can tell, are the same, except maybe like the face, but the body animations are 1-to-1. It's a remaster.
Yeah, because I was looking at it and it did look like not as smooth, like the animation and stuff like that. And I don't know. I never played Crisis Core, so I don't know how the gameplay is any different or not. Like, is it just going to be Crisis Core, like the exact same style of gameplay, or have they overhauled the gameplay like they did with the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think that's the big
it's the same.
differentiator. Yeah, because if it's the same, I'd be more willing to call it a remaster, I think, than an actual remake.
Hold on, remake to me.
Yeah, because
I think
But I also haven't played that game.
They're calling it a
actually
remaster.
calling it a remaster.
They're calling it a remaster.
Yeah,
Yes.
but people are claiming they should be calling it a remake because it.
No,
It
it's just a
looks
very
complete
different.
visual overhaul.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean it's also coming to Switch, which I was very surprised about.
Hell yeah.
That's because it's a PSP game
Yeah.
with like.
You know what else is a
upgraded
PSP game? Persona 3 Portable.
Yeah?
It has not announced for Switch yet. Yeah.
I hope Crisis Core is a cloud version. I think that'd be really fun.
No, they would have announced that
They would
already.
have announced it already.
They would have announced that already. Thank
Sad.
God.
They can't.
Thank
They
God
can't.
it's
They
not.
can't not
Are-
announce it as a cloud version.
They
because
are
it's gonna
almost
be,
certainly falsely advertising Crisis Core though on
Why?
Switch.
I mean, how?
all the
The
trailers are like in
trailer
60
uploaded to
FPS,
Nintendo is 60
4K.
FPS. There's no way.
It's possible.
I mean,
4K 60
4K
on the
Oh,
Switch.
it's 4K
is
60.
definitely
Oh,
not.
I didn't hear the
But
I didn't hear the 4K part.
I think
Whoops.
60 FPS is possible. 4K probably not.
Absolutely not.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Unless you
not,
know-
in fact, 'cause the Switch can't
Unless you
even
know
do that.
that new Switch. Not OLED model. What's it called? The
Switch Pro.
Switch Pro. Yeah, the Switch
Launching
Pro is
exclusive.
getting
The
us
Switch
up
Pro
there.
is
Crisis
not
Core.
real.
I don't think the Switch Pro is real. I think the Switch Pro was the OLED model.
It's the Switch 2. It's coming.
It's
Oh, like
the
another
Switch
8
Pro
years.
exists specifically for Crisis Core. It's going to launch with every copy of Crisis Core on the Switch. It's going to be $250.
Oh man, jeez, that's a pretty cheap price.
I
Gotta
don't
be
know how
honest.
much the Switch is in America, so
That's 300.
okay, damn.
Yeah, the OLED model's 350, and the Switch is still 300.
$400.
That's essentially.
But yeah. So Crisis Core is coming. Final Fantasy Rebirth is the Final Fantasy Part 2, and then they also confirmed that this would only be a trilogy. This remakes.
Yup.
And the third one's already started development. So
Yeah.
I like how they've confirmed it's not a remake.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's not actually Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's
Well-
Final Fantasy VII Rebuild.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. That's the title of the first. That's the title of the first game. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was their plan all along, and I respect it so much. I'm so happy
Yeah.
about it.
Honestly,
Yeah,
every
all
game...
those people who wanted a Final Fantasy VII Remake, fuck them.
Oh well, they're getting a remake. It's called Ever Crisis.
Yeah, oh god,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, they also
Like,
showed
Grit-
First Soldier and Ever Crisis. I didn't even know
Yeah.
First Soldier was even out. to
It's
be
been out
honest.
for a while, and surprisingly, it's already on season 3. I had no
season
idea.
3. That's when I was like season 3. I was like, wait, what? When did
Yeah.
season 1 come out?
I had no idea it was on season 3 already.
Yeah.
That game was going through seasons pretty fast, I guess. I think that came out last year. I think in the fall or winter.
Last fall
Yeah.
probably makes sense if they're on season 3 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sort of dropped. Ever
I mean,
Crisis. Ever Crisis, I don't know what to think about. It's obviously a gacha cash grab, but it depends on how egregious the gacha is on it. I suppose.
I think it's strange because the only part that's really gacha is supposed to be like, costumes and weapons.
Yeah, the weapons.
Outside of that, I'm pretty sure because it seems to be playing like a regular JRPG, of course, like a more modern battle scheme, to the term in a turn-based aspect, but you're walking around like these, is it called pre-image or still image backgrounds, and you have those pre-rendered backgrounds. And it's like you're going to different fights. And of course, if you're playing it, you should be getting like EXP, so you probably don't necessarily need those weapons. Like it might help speed up the game a little bit, but you're probably getting EXP.
Well,
Oh no, it's happening again.
Yeah, well, this is what I mean by how egregious is it? Because obviously you need equipment and stuff to get through the game, mana and orbs and all that. If it's all tied to the gacha system, could you just be stuck trying to grind orbs because your weapons are like actual garbage? And
I don't
can't
know.
get through a boss. Like, it depends on how it's balanced like this. Because it's Square, I don't trust them enough to make it well balanced. Their gacha offerings previously have been pretty bad. But
Yeah,
who knows? Because there's usually a way to get around gachas, and
I
the fact that everything else is free, like it's the entire story of Final Fantasy VII, and also Crisis Core, and I believe maybe
War
Dirge of
Crisis.
Cerberus as well.
Dirge Crisis Advent
Which
as
one?
well.
Which one as well?
Before Crisis,
Before
Advent,
Crisis.
and
Oh, and Advent Children as well.
Urge.
See,
I think
those are cool because I'm assuming they're going to be done in the traditional Final Fantasy VII turn-based style, whichever Crisis seems to be built around, which would be very different for Dirge of Cerberus, given that it was like a third-person shooter game.
yeah, I mean, because everything else is free, I'm kind of more okay with the gacha aspect because like you're making like a whole game. Actually,
Yeah.
no, you're making several games for free, and there's gonna be gotcha. It's like I think they're probably like, oh, here's the gotcha if you don't want to deal with like grinding and stuff like that, and like a
I'm
regular
assuming
RPG.
that's what it's for.
I think that's what it'll be.
A gacha game that's not PvP but is just single player is very strange.
Yeah.
I mean, both Fire Emblem and Mario Kart have hefty single player stuff, but they also like have shit like ranked match in Mario Kart where you are competing to get higher scores, and that makes the gacha feel very pay to win in that game. Because like obviously it's based around your level, but whenever I hit a threshold of like 45 or above, I'm obviously playing against people now who have actually been paying money into this game. And so there's like almost no chance of me winning because everything they have is stronger. But in a single player game like this, it doesn't really matter. So I feel like it's going to be interesting to see how they manage it, the gacha part.
Consoles though, still it's getting a closed test for iOS and Android later this year.
Yeah, I guess we'll see the feedback from that. As for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Part 2, that looks pretty fun. Obviously, Aerith isn't dying this time. I feel like that's the big. I feel like that's the big thing this time around. Yeah. The trailer already implied that Cloud is somewhat aware of the fact that Aerith died the first time around.
Oh yeah, because that happens in spoilers, but yeah, he gets made aware and.
Okay, I haven't actually finished Remake. I watched a friend play it. We got past the honeybee section.
Okay.
And I can't remember how far past that we got, but it was only a bit after that, I think, and then we never went back to it. But I know about the plot ghosts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which every remake needs plot ghosts now. I've decided. I mean, you need to fill the plot holes with plot ghosts to explain away the plot holes.
Also, what?
Plot holes? No, they're just there to protect the integrity of the original story. And
then they keep
die.
I know. So whenever anything happens that would disrupt that and create a plot hole, they come in and fix it.
It's not a plot hole. It's just when something changes.
But it's funny.
Also Remake is on Steam. Remake is on Steam now, which is cool because we could potentially ask Square Enix for integrate for a review copy, and I haven't played that game, so I'm tempted to.
Have you played the original Final
Fantasy? Well, that's why I said earlier in the stream I'm gonna play Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, good.
That's specifically my intention. I think I want to do a playthrough of Final Fantasy VII and then ask Square Enix like, hey, I want to play this game. And like, have you played the original? Like, yeah, I have. Here's the streams, and it's like, okay.
They're not gonna ask if you've played the original because
people
think it's a remake of the original.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that at that point. If you're already promoting, already doing promotional for Rebirth, specifically showing that it's not just like the original. If your director's message is very heavily like, not even implying, directly explicitly stating, yeah, it's clearly like not a 1-to-1 remake. I think they're not doing it like I don't think they're hiding it at that point. It's very obvious, especially with that final trailer that they revealed for Remake. Absolutely, they were like, okay, go guns blazing. It's clearly not just a 1-to-1 remake. And if you wanted that, I get it. I actually, to go back earlier, I don't mean to be like dismissive when I say, oh, you could play Ever Crisis, because I do understand that like I have a lot of friends as well who did actually want, like a one-to-one remake of Final Fantasy 7, and I get that. At that point, I really do wish that they do bring Ever Crisis, because my friends are also like Ever Crisis to consoles, because my friends are also like, wait, this is exactly the game I wanted. You're making it, but it's on mobile. So it's like it's great that they're doing both. I just think that if the creators, if the developers want to do something in this way, I'm a lot more interested in that thing. And granted that it's going well as well, because it could have sucked. But I probably still have been like, oh, they tried it and they did what they wanted to do, and I'm still cool with that. But at least now that they're supplying both things that people want, or at least this learned that I guess figured out that they wanted, because most people probably had no idea it was going to be uh the game came out.
I feel like they should release Ever Crisis on consoles. I mean, they released Final
Absolutely.
Fantasy 15 mobile or whatever on
Like
consoles.
Pocket Edition.
Yeah, Pocket Edition. Yeah.
Pocket Edition.
So there's no reason they couldn't do Ever Crisis as well, but whatever.
Maybe the tech per game.
Yep, you're going again.
I'll Discover.
Yep. But yes.
Do you agree with me that they are remastering Crisis Core because they want people to be familiar with Zack and Gat?
Yes, I do. Definitely Zack. I don't know enough about the game to know who Gat is. How do you spell his name?
Gat is going to be the final boss of either Part 2 or Part 3 of Final Fantasy VII, the rebuild Evangelion trilogy.
How do you spell his name? Gact, is it?
G-A-C-K-T.
Okay, yeah, right. I did get it that way. Voice of... So, Genesis then. Is that his actual
No, his name is Gact.
No, that's where you confusing me. Gact is his voice actor. Damn it. Right, yes, no, I know who Genesis is. Okay. I mean, he's definitely going to be there, because didn't they have is it Dirge of Cerberus character in Interlude?
Yes.
Like, so they're clearly bringing everything in. And I think just having it be Sephiroth again, with how Sephiroth is kind of hanging around Cloud as a ghost, will probably...
No, Sephiroth is going to join the party.
Is he going to join the party? I know there's the scene of him and Cloud walking around, but I'm pretty sure that feels like it's the flashback segment potentially from...
Oh, it probably is, but there's no world in which he does not join the party for the final battle.
I don't know about that. I'm not convinced he'll join. It depends on what his plan is, really, because if his plan is still to just do the same thing as he did in the first Final Fantasy VII somehow, and he's just taken a new route about it, I can't imagine him joining the party unless it's like literally for the end of Part 2 and then he goes back to being a villain in Part 3. Like, I don't know. I'm not feeling Sephiroth. I think Sephiroth will be playable in this, like, in the flashback section or that, but I don't think he's going to be a proper party member. Especially because this part's already got to introduce Kate Sith and fucking Vincent, and then make Yuffie also a part of the party properly now.
You know the funniest thing they could do?
Mm-hmm.
You know the funniest thing they could do?
What?
Gact FF7 is the final boss of Part 2. And then Part 3. Sephiroth, Zack, and Aerith fight Cloud as the final boss.
That would be a strange direction to take this.
Sounds real.
I guess we'll see. I'm not seeing it going that way. But I guess we shall find out. But I do agree. They're remaking Crisis Core because clearly it's going to be really important to whatever changes they're making in this. I think the big question is this remaster of Crisis Core the original, or is it meant to be set in this new Final Fantasy VII Remake version? Because people have pointed out how they've changed the Buster Sword's design to the new one from the remake, and not keeping it as the original one. Which some people are saying they're just doing for aesthetics, but some people are saying that they're doing it to sort of show that this version of Crisis Core is set in this version of the Final Fantasy VII universe.
The voices?
The what?
What were you saying?
The blade, the sword.
The sword. The Buster
The
Sword design.
The sword is different.
Yeah.
I think that's just to maintain parity, to be honest.
I mean, it might be. That's what I was saying. Some people say it might be that, but some people are saying it might be because this version of Crisis Core is set in the remake universe, basically.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, because I wouldn't put it past them, even on a remaster, to have some new content that could tie it into the remakes. Especially if that is their intention of remaking this game to give further context to whatever they're going to add in Rebuild. So, yeah. I think it's certainly possible. But I guess we'll find out. We'll find out about Crisis Core at the end of this year, and we'll find out about Final Fantasy VII Part 2 at the end of next year. And then we'll find out if Final Fantasy VII
Remake
Part 3 at the end of 2027.
FF7 Remake is a sequel. I mean, Sephiroth is just the Sephiroth from Advent Children. Aerith knows of the original game.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Cloud does as well, I assume.
Cloud doesn't know until Aerith, introduces him to the plot ghosts.
I thought the visions that he
Plot
sees...
ghosts run
I
through
thought...
him.
Doesn't the visions he sees mid-battle tell him that?
Don't those only start after he runs into Aerith?
Yeah, those start.
I mean, yeah, that's after he
runs
runs
into
into
Aerith,
her.
but before he's actually introduced to the plot ghosts, sort of thing. Like that happens when they first start appearing, when you think he saves Aerith from them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Sephiroth has already started teasing him at that point. like Sephiroth just starts showing up much before that.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Cloud.
Yes, it's me. I would rather Sephiroth not join the party and just constantly be standing behind Cloud the whole time, fucking with him. I think it's funnier.
Sephiroth has become a fucking caricature, and normally I get upset when characters are flanderized to this extent, but he's so fucking funny.
I think it works with Sephiroth. I think. To be fair, I haven't beaten Final Fantasy VII, but just from what I know of it. Like the original Final Fantasy VII. I have it on Switch. One day I'll play it. We'll see what happens first. This trilogy being complete, or me finally beating Final Fantasy VII on Switch. Even just playing Final Fantasy VII on Switch, in fact.
I doubt it's going to take you 10 years to play Final Fantasy VII.
I don't know.
On the Switch.
Don't underestimate me and my backlog. Right. I think that's everything I would have to say on this, unless you guys have anything else you really want to add.
I don't think so.
Nope.
We talked about everything, yeah.
I hope all of the dialogue in Crisis Core is exactly the same. I want a new, fresh recording of me, Gungaga.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be hilarious.
Right. Next thing, Capcom. The Capcom Showcase.
Yeah.
That was the main takeaway from that is obviously all the Resident Evil stuff, but they had Monster Hunter Sunbreak. They showed
Exo Primal.
Street Fighter 6.
When was the last? When was the last time we did one? Was it before or after Street Fighter 6?
The last time we did what?
We talked about Street Fighter 6 being revealed.
Okay,
definitely.
Without the state of play.
But we did, because it was in the state of play episode.
The Capcom showcase, they told everyone what was going to be there beforehand.
Yes.
And it was still disappointing.
Interesting. I thought people liked the Capcom showcase.
People do.
I didn't watch it because it was super late for me, and I just didn't really care about anything they were showing off. But when I woke up, I I thought fan reaction to it was good.
It was. It is.
Exoprimal looked good. For some reason, the entire Capcom showcase, they didn't set up their stream properly, so it was dropping hella frames.
Oh no.
I think that game actually was dropping frames though.
No, the entire stream was dropping frames.
So the game wasn't dropping frames either.
As far as I know, the game was or was not dropping frames. We could not tell because the entire stream was dropping frames. It was doing it during Monster Hunter. It was doing it during even the live action portions.
Double frame drops. Yeah.
I tuned into that stream to see Dragon's Dogma 2. Hideaki Itsuno showed up for 1 minute and said, "Hello, everyone. It's the 10th anniversary of Dragon's Dogma. Bye!"
Yeah, announces it in a stream.
Yeah, his own stream later. That's really random. Why did they give Dragon's Dogma its own dedicated stream?
Because I think that the devs really wanted to talk about it, that original game. So that's probably why you can't do that.
They wanted to talk about the development of the original game, and that was like a really wholesome presentation. I thought it was very interesting. I kind of knew most of what they were talking about, but it's still nice to hear it again from like the source.
Mouth, basically.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I need the people who are really excited about Dragon's Dogma 2 being announced. I never really played it. I played the demo of the first one, but we were hoping it was going to be like 4-player multiplayer, and it wasn't, so we kind of just lost interest in it immediately.
Dude, I am a huge Dragon's Dogma fan.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking flipped it when they ripped off their jackets and showed the shirts. Like, that's all I needed. That's all I needed, man.
I'm glad that's like one of those rumors, leaks, whatever that's been in the pipeline for a very, very long time. Dragon's Dogma 2.
He's been working on Dragon's Dogma 2 since Devil May Cry 5 ended development.
Yeah. Did they say? Did they give like an estimate of when it would come out? Is it like next year?
No.
They just said it was in development. Okay.
It said it's in development.
It's gonna be the first open world game using the RE engine.
Okay, interesting. The RE engine's very diverse in what it can do, so I see no reason why they can't do an open world.
I'm so excited for Exoprimal. It looks so fun.
Yeah, so Exoprimal is the dinosaur co-op shooting game, right?
I found out Exoprimal was a team-based shooter and immediately lost interest.
Yeah, it's like a team-based Dynasty Warriors. It's not just a shooter. It's also like a hack and slash.
Okay.
But like one character, I think one character or like two, you can choose whatever your weapon is. You can also shoot as well, like as a sniper or something like that. So it is very much up my alley because it is like a Dynasty Warriors games as well for that footage. And it's like, oh damn, this is gonna be fun. And it's a closed alpha test, so you sign up for that on the website.
Nice, yeah, because I forgot to watch the new trailer, but I do remember the original trailer when everyone first thought it was Dino Crisis, and then it went completely off the rails.
Nope. And they also said it like I think it was like a dev to be like, yeah, there's no relation to Dino Crisis at all. We weren't thinking about it.
Dino Crisis blows. Yeah. I don't know why people care so much.
It's one of those things I think where the concept's cool and they grew up with it, so they like it. Some want to see a new one. I mean, for some people, the original Resident Evil games also blow because they just can't get around the tank controls or the hammy-die.
No, those games are awesome. Dino Crisis actually blows.
I mean, I can't comment because I've never played Dino Crisis.
Same here.
So we'll let anyone in the chat who's played it clap back if they want. But speaking of Resident Evil, that also got shown off. Resident Evil 4 Remake got a bit of footage shown.
The fucking gameplay they showed for RE4 Remake was the funniest shit in the world. They just show Leon walking. He goes underneath an object. Footage over.
Yeah, it was really short. It's
That
just
was
like,
quite short,
yes,
yes.
in this game, it will be over the shoulder, just like the original, and then it ends. It's like, great.
We
Thanks,
saw was it
guys.
RE8 DLC though, and that looked
Yeah,
really cool.
RE8 DLC. The biggest takeaway I've seen from that is that they actually showed Ethan's face in the key art
It's
for it, and everyone's
so
like, "What?"
fucking. It's so. They went out of their way to make a third person mode for RE8. I think specifically because of the DLC. Um, and that's just so weird.
I mean, I'm kind of curious because I remember the original Resi 7 when it was first revealed had a third person and a first person mode, and you could swap between them. And
Did
then
it?
Yeah, and then they cut the third person mode. I think when they went to go switch to actually having VR in the game.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I have a vivid memory of that in the first Resident Evil 7 trailer because I didn't like the fact that it was going to be in first person, and then I found out that that it was just going to be an option and there was going to be third person and first person. But then it didn't. When the game came out, it didn't have that option anymore, and I wasn't really following the game development, so I was like, "What?" I'm pretty sure that's true. I can't imagine I would have just made this up in my head. It's not like I think about Resident Evil 7 a lot, so I've never even finished it, in fact. But I do remember this. But yeah, they showed off. I guess they're adding that to Resident Evil 8.
Yep.
They're adding it to RE8. It might be part of the deal. I think it's part of the DLC. I think you need to buy the DLC for it.
Right. Yeah, that would make sense. They're also didn't they show off like a tiny bit of reverse?
I don't. I actually went ahead and rewatched it, and I was like, and they showed off reverse. I think that like it has a date, but they didn't show off gameplay. Cause they showed off, what was it, Lady Dimitrescu, the blood guy,
I don't know which guy.
the and the
They
hand.
showed off Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Okay, the other Resident Evil 8 dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mercenary.
Yep.
But
we're losing you again, Phantom. But
oh man.
Yeah, we're losing.
It looks like the game's coming out at the same time as the Village DLC, so this October. I'm really curious to see how Reverse will do.
It's probably gonna do exactly the same as. Actually, no, it's gonna do significantly worse than the multiplayer did for RE3 because at least it had people playing it at launch when the game was like being bought by millions of people.
Yeah.
the multiplayer coming so late for RE8 just like it's gonna tank it.
Yeah, it feels really weird. Like it feels like Reverse should just be its own game that they hype up and stuff, and not tie it to RE8.
Well, it sucks. So
yeah, it sucks. It feels like the fact that they're tying it to RE8 is very specifically because they know not enough people will buy it. But at this point, they probably
should just make it a free-to-play multiplayer game. Yeah, to be honest,
because it doesn't even play like anything like Resident Evil 8, so it just sort of very much feels like a game being tacked onto another game.
They kind of can't do that though because they already like promised Reverse to people who bought Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
So you paid for it, and if they just gave it to everyone for free at this point, that would be weird.
Yeah, I think I can't imagine anyone bought Resident Evil 8 exclusively to play Reverse.
There's one person there's one person out there.
Maybe, but maybe you could do something like if you own Resident Evil 8, you get something special in Reverse.
If you own Resident Evil 8, you get Lady Dimitrescu as a playable character.
Yeah, like that. That's it. And I think that one person would be, and then just make Reverse free to play. And then I think that one person will at least still feel like they got something out of buying Resident Evil 8. But it's such a weird idea, and it's taken way too long.
I still can't believe they said the words you can see enemies from over 9 feet tall when they were showing Lady Demetrius in fucking Mercenaries.
Yeah.
Rufus. Well, anyway, there was also Monster Hunter stuff, which I actually just got Monster Hunter Rise for free on Steam with my new computer. So now
Wow.
I have a
How?
it just came with it. Like the Intel CPU I bought, I got an email and they were like, because you bought this, here is Monster Hunter Rise on Steam. And
Lucky
then I
you.
went to the
Damn.
page and it was both Monster Hunter Rise and Street Fighter 5. So I had both of them now on Steam.
I thought you could
One
say
of those
Street Fighter
games is
Switch for some
good.
reason.
Yeah.
Both of those games are good.
I already have Monster Hunter Rise on Switch and I can't transfer the save file over annoyingly. So
Nope.
I'm just going to sort of see what my friends decide they want to do, if they want to play it on PC or Switch. And then at least I have the option now. Because I wouldn't
Yeah.
have bought the game again. But I will play it if I have it for free. But if I have it on PC, I kind of want to do mods in it. Like, fuck around like that. Especially because I don't know if I can be asked to get up to the same point, the same level, and get all the same gear as I did on the Switch version. I'm not going to be playing this competitively online or anything, so...
Bro, I modified my save file in Monster Hunter World, and then Iceborne came out, and then it turns out that broke my fucking save file.
Oh no.
So I had to restart from the beginning, and I still have not caught up to where I was.
Sounds rough. Damn.
Yeah, that's a pain.
All I wanted to do was change my character's name. That's literally all I wanted to do.
Fucking broke the world. Broke the world of Monster Hunter by changing your name. Reverse is the amiibo festival of the Resident Evil series. Reverse would do a lot better if it was on Switch and they were releasing amiibo to go along with it. Like, imagine it's a free-to-play game where you have to buy the amiibo to fucking play it.
That would actually do worse.
I mean, it probably would, but I like the idea. Maybe it's just an option. Maybe you have the option to buy the amiibo. Because Amiibo Festival, you didn't need the Animal Crossing amiibo. You could use... I mean, it's what the game recommended. You got benefits for using the amiibos, but there was a way around it. I think you played as Mies or something. Or was it generic villagers? It was one of the two. You couldn't play as any of the animal characters at the very least. Anyway, I'm going off topic there. Do we want to say anything else about the Capcom showcase? Because they didn't really show
talked about
much
everything.
about Resident Evil 4 that's worth
Nope.
talking about, really, other than I still think this game doesn't need a remake. So I'd have much rather...
I can't wait
focused
for
on-
Resident Evil 4 Remake to be completely different and not be what anyone wanted at all, and it'll be really funny.
Do you think it'll be worse than the original Resident Evil 4?
You don't want me to answer that question.
Because this is something
worse.
this is something I've thought about, right? Because especially with The Last of Us Part 1 being announced.
Yeah.
Like, The Last of Us Part 1 doesn't feel like a necessary remake, but here they are, like, trying to fix the AI and stuff like that. But do you
Oh yeah,
think...
the AI is notoriously abysmal in
Yeah, it's
The Last
fucking
of Us.
garbage in the first Last of Us game. Like, it's one of the reasons I hated that game and just soured me on the whole series. But, like, if they fix all of this stuff, Last of Us might actually be a good game, finally. But I wonder if it will be a game that the first Last of Us reviewed so well. I wonder if the remake could review as well as it did. Or just the fact that it is a remake of a game that doesn't feel like it was that long ago, will actually cause people to sort of not review it as well, or like
I
bring its
think
review score down.
did the remaster get worse reviews?
I feel like it might have. I'm not actually sure.
Let me
That's
look.
a good question. Yeah, because like this happened. Obviously, different people review these games, but like Pokemon Oraz is better than Ruby and Sapphire is, but that game reviewed worse than Ruby and Sapphire did.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
Remastered reviewed pretty much exactly the same.
Okay, right. So maybe this one probably will as well. But it's just a food for thought thing, because Resident Evil 4 is one of those games that reviewed like exceptionally well. So could a remake also capture that same magic? Because I feel like Ocarina of Time 3D didn't review as well as the original Ocarina of Time did.
Well, of course it didn't.
Yeah. So, like, it shows that just having the same game isn't
I
good
think
enough.
Last of Us is in a special situation because it literally just came out.
Yeah.
So it was still hot in everyone's mind when the remaster did. So it was still like, oh yeah, this game's great.
Yeah. I also wonder if the remaster already being available on PS5 will in some way bring down like people's thoughts on the remake. Because that's my biggest issue with The Last of Us. I have no problem with a game from 10 years ago coming back on, but the fact that Resident Evil 5, not Resident Evil 5, Last of Us remaster is already on the PS5 kind of makes the whole thing feel a bit pointless. It's Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story all over again. Where the remake is almost certainly better than the original, but why would I buy the remake when I have the original on 3DS anyway? Or I can play it on 3DS at least.
There's potential here for an improvement. I think, because there's a lot of aspects of the original Resident Evil 4 that are lacking. The entire ending section is one of those.
Yeah.
There's just like things they can improve, but they're going to change so much. Like, I have no doubt the comical tone is going to go away, except for maybe some like funny moments that are over the top action moments that they actually just think are really cool that'll just be there.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's going to be as cheesy as the original was in
Yeah.
sections. Yeah, because it's going to be following the same continuity as Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake.
Yep.
So that's already... And from some of the leaks and stuff that have already happened, we know that there's going to be some significant changes happening, so...
I am not a big fan of New Leon.
I don't feel like I've seen enough of him. It's also a bit hard because there's so many like Leons out there. When I was trying to find like a picture to put in this stream, originally I was going to put a picture of Resi 4 remake instead of putting the Capcom showcase. I was trying to find a picture and I couldn't tell whether any of the photos I had seen were of remake Leon or a photo just from Resident Evil 2 instead of 4, or a fan like model or from something else. He's changed so much from game to game that I actually just have a hard time telling which one.
RE2 Remake Leon is playing old drunk Leon in the Netflix series, and he does not fit. He only fits RE2 Leon.
So yeah. Yeah, it's I guess we'll just have to see. Resident Evil 4 Leon, if the remake one, if it is the image that I keep seeing, does look a bit odd compared to original Resident Evil 4 Leon. I mean, they clearly got the same haircut and stuff, but I don't know, there's something about it kind of looks a bit Uncanny Valley, maybe.
The Resident Evil like RE Engine games look weird. Like they haven't hit the same really good balance between stylization and realism that Devil May Cry hit. Here, let me post the picture of him.
Yeah, he's got with the butt chin.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, okay. I have to, okay, so that's the one, right?
He looks much better than RE2. At least RE2 Leon looks fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't mind him. I guess I never minded him when I was actually playing it, but that's because it's the younger version of Leon. Like, I'm so much more used to the older version of Leon that was in the Resident Evil 4 and then 6. That them changing the design of the younger one never really bothered me much.
Yeah.
But now it sort of does. But oh well. What we gonna do? Shall we move on to the next topic?
Sure thing.
All right. That is probably the longest one we'll have. Nintendo Direct predictions, rumors, leaks, blah blah blah. There actually isn't a lot.
Nintendo Direct. I need to talk about this really quick.
Okay.
Okay. So, in March of this year, I was having a discussion with one of my friends. And he predicted there to be an incident on June 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if that's the date of the Nintendo Direct, I will forfeit all future arguments to you. I have won in the battle of ideas.
I saw that, yeah.
Oh god, it's giving me Samus Hunter, the fake leaker on Twitter. It was also being like, oh, it's gonna be June 15th, I can confirm, and then the second rumors started popping up for June 29th. They were like, oh, I can confirm this is the date, and it's like, what the fuck? It's not even like been a week since you started saying, oh, it was June 15th.
Oh my god, I laughed so much when the rumors started around Neon White and TMNT.
Oh yeah.
And then both of those games were just at the Summer Games Fest.
Yeah. Oh man, I'd seen the rumor for the Neon White one. I didn't realize there was also a TMNT one. I was like, I could believe it maybe because I've had presentations spoilt for me by press releases from companies before, but we didn't receive the Neon White one, so I didn't know what the actual one looked like. But I could have believed it to be case because it's also June 15th is usually when those directs happen, which is obviously why that fake leaker was trying to claim that was the date. But yeah, that's when they showed up in the Summer Games Fest, it was like, right, well, clearly it's not a shadow drop then, like the original guy was claiming. It's clearly been announced here, so whoops. But Nintendo Direct, the current rumored date is the 29th of June, which is a Wednesday, and I don't like that because I don't want it to be on a Wednesday. Wednesday's like the worst day of the week for me. I'd much rather it be Thursday. I can do Thursdays.
I'll hold down the fort if it's not. If it is.
I mean,
Wednesday.
I'm gonna be reacting to this regardless. It just means I'm gonna have to effectively leave work early on Wednesday so I can get.
Depending on the
stomach ache.
It really
depending
also
on the-
depends on the time it is as well. Usually
Yeah.
the E3 Direct was always a consistent 9 a.m. Pacific time, which was 5 p.m. my time. And I'm just sort of working around the fact that it will be that again, even though there's really no reason to think that's the case.
Yeah, you just gotta spontaneously have a stomach ache.
Yeah.
To leave.
Sorry, I've
I might-
broken my arm. I'm gonna go. But your
I
arm
might have to
looks
take my
fine.
lunch
No,
break
no,
depending
no,
on when it
it's-
is.
It's broken. Yeah, it's definitely going to be on. I say definitely. It's almost certainly going to be between the 28th, 29th, 30th. It might be 29th for America and 30th for everyone else, or vice versa. 29th in Japan and the 28th for everyone else. I guess we'll see when they actually announce it, which I would suspect to be next week. At least by the 24th. I guess we'll see. I honestly think that part of the reason they're waiting so long this time is because they want 3 Hopes to be out first.
Oh yeah, I feel the same way too. They want 3 Hopes to be out first for a specific reason.
Yeah, I guess we can start with that because it feels like to me the only thing from this direct that might have potentially leaked. But
Yeah?
technically, I guess it's not in the direct, but it might not be in the direct. But the new Fire Emblem game is supposedly in development. It's supposedly done, in fact. And there's been a few potentially leaked screenshots of the Chinese build of the game by IQ. Yeah, but the game is apparently done. Apparently, it was originally meant for the 30th anniversary of the series, which was obviously in 2020.
Last year.
When was the 30th anniversary? It was when they released Shadow Dragon. So that must it wasn't last.
I believe
December,
it's 2021.
On it.
No, it's definitely 1990. Was definitely when the first.
Was it
Fire
1990?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It was.
So 2020,
Okay, it was 2020.
supposedly. I guess they didn't make it in time because I guess
They absolutely didn't make it.
Yeah,
in time.
I guess COVID is probably the reason. Why that happened. And because they didn't make it in time for the anniversary, they just sort of waiting on it. Now it can kind of go out whenever.
It's supposedly being co-developed by Gust.
I think Gust are just making the models, right?
They might be making the visuals in their entirety.
Yeah. My understanding was that Gust were doing the visuals, and then Koei Tecmo and Intelligent Systems were working together again, like they did with Three Houses. Except Intelligent Systems was a bit more involved this time than they were the first time.
I thought people. Oh my god. I thought people would take my words as much.
Oh,
or was
cutting out again.
Yeah, you're gonna say it again.
Restart my phone.
Yeah. I don't know what the problem is with your mic. It must be something to do with your internet. Yeah, but yeah, no. Gust are the people who make the Atelier games for Koei Tecmo. And then, obviously, the Koei Tecmo side will be the people who make the Warriors games again, who are releasing the Warriors game that's coming out on Friday.
Yep.
Yeah. Gust is doing environmental stuff according to leaks. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure they're doing the models as well. But yeah,
the looks of the leaked screenshots. They're doing the same thing that Fire Emblem Warriors did, where they're like full portraits that are 3D models.
Okay. Yeah, that I think
which
that
is a bit sad to me because I had just played the Three Hopes demo, and they like improved the presentation of the dialogue sequences in that game a lot.
Oh, they did, yeah. You can actually read the text this time.
Yeah, the text is readable, and the portraits are a little less zoomed in, and it shows who's talking, like in the conversation on the left and right, rather than just the person who is talking at the present moment.
Yeah. That's very good. This one, I'm trying to remember what the screenshots were off the top of my head, because I know that there was a handful of them. There was one of the protagonists, both from the front and the back, Colgate Girl. There was also screenshots of what looked like the character list, a screenshot of one of the support pages, and then a screenshot of an actual support going on between two old men.
We see Anna in that list.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. There was a list of like other parts of it as well. Yeah, okay, I found it now. Supposedly, at least the project name for the game is Fire Emblem Engage. And it's meant to be heavily sort of based around the Wii game, the cancelled Wii game. Which,
oh boy,
for those who don't know about the cancelled Wii game, it was kind of like a Fire Emblem game where the entirety was just the dungeon segments from Shadow of Valentia, basically, as the game. So you weren't just in dungeons; you walked around villages. So imagine a cross between the Three Houses, Garrick Max sections, and then the dungeons from Shadows of Valentia.
Hold on.
That was the game.
Okay, if it's based around the Wii game,
yeah, the cancelled.
Does that mean it's a separate staff? Like it could. So the Awakening and Fate's main staff didn't really work on Three Houses that much.
No, they didn't.
That would make perfect sense why this game might have been like in like development at the same time as Three Houses. Then
yeah. Yeah, like
and why
that's what
Gust
I
was
mean.
taking like so much of the load.
Yeah, this game seems to have intelligent system more heavily involved with it than Three Houses did. I'm actually honestly not sure why so many Fire Emblem games are being made so all over the place. Like Fire
It's
Emblem
because they
Warriors, and
found
then
success finally.
well, yeah, I know, but like Intelligent System are working on this Fire Emblem game, and then they're also working on the remake of presumably Genealogy. We still don't know what actual game that is, and then that while these two games are being made, Three Houses was also being made, but this time by Koei Tecmo. But all three of these are like, I guess I understand why a remake and a new game would be made, but why are they making two new games and a remake at the same time? It seems like a lot of Fire Emblem, but
I think
there must have been a reason.
I think Warriors is just like its own thing.
Yeah, I mean Warriors
Like
is its own thing.
they're
I'm not
considering
even
it its own thing.
I'm not even considering Warriors. I'm just curious why Three Houses, which is obviously a Fire Emblem, a core Fire Emblem game, and then this one being worked on at the same time.
Yeah, it. My only thought is that it was originally a smaller anniversary title, and because they just missed the anniversary, they're expanding it.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense because part of the original leak was that it was sort of built around being able to use lords from previous Fire Emblem games. But according to the newer leaks, that is a mechanic within the game, but it's not like the core focus of the game. The game has its own set of original characters and stuff. We know it's still an anniversary game because clearly Anna is in this game and is more important here seemingly than she has been in the other games because she's not coming across as a secret bonus character and might even have supports that are more than just beyond Pepsi Girl. Who
Yeah.
I wonder if Pepsi Girl is an Avatar character or not.
Apparently, according to the leaks, yes.
Yes. Is it an avatar in the same way that Robin is, or an avatar in the same way that Byleth is, where they're only an
We don't
avatar
know.
in name? That's the.
We do not know.
Cause it feels like with such wild hair.
Oh no,
They're
their
probably-
design is set.
Yeah.
Like
So it's a
I feel
Byleth
like their
level
design is set.
Avatar.
I thought you were talking about more like story wise.
Oh right. No.
Because Robin is a character and Byleth is a cardboard cutout.
Yeah. Byleth is really weird to me because clearly in the Warriors games they've just been like, yeah, cool, Byleth is a character now, and not just a cardboard cutout. But for whatever, I know why they did it in Three Houses, like story wise, like how they tried to justify it and all that. But I just don't know why they made that decision in the first place.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like we'll make a character that feels like a self-insert, but you don't get to customize and make it look like you. But
Oh god,
whatever.
it was so weird playing Three Hopes and Byleth started speaking and I'm like, no, this is wrong.
I'm used to it because they speak in the mobile game like perfectly fine. There's nothing to indicate that they would be mute or silent. So it's just a weird thing for Three Houses. But whatever. So some other things from this leak and stuff is that it's going to have multiplayer, online PvP and co-op, which will be interesting. There is a central hub that you work from, but it's smaller than Garreg Mach was, which is good because walking around Garreg Mach takes way too freaking long.
Yeah, it's too big.
Yeah, I would guess maybe it's a bit more in size to how the base camp is in Three Hopes. Just like a circle with the important thing in the middle, and then stuff just around the side. And the game also only has one route in it, so there's no three multiple routes this time around. This is like a more traditional Fire Emblem game. There are also some more unique. There are some unique classes based on one of the screenshots. Like there's a princess class. There's an old man. There's a tamer class. And there's also like a prince class. I don't know what the tamer class is, but it's apparently what that old man in the support conversation, his class is.
Yeah, I haven't looked too far into the leaks. The furthest I saw was that I think the Gold Knight was back.
Yeah, the Gold Knight is back. That's also one of the classes. The guy, so the one leak screenshot of the two support conversations, the old man is a tamer, and the guy who's speaking, who is his support conversation, is the Gold Knight. At least I think, just going back off memory, one of them's the Gold Knight, and one of them's this new class called Tamer. There's also the Prince is called Diamond. And it looks like I had a list of the names up before, but I seem to have misplaced it. But I know that there was another one named after another gem. I think Lapis. So it looks like a handful of the characters, probably the royals, will all be named after gemstones of some kind, or just one country's list of people will be named after gemstones. Yeah. But yeah, that seems to be a thing. There's apparently mini games to raise stats. The weapon triangle is back in full force. Weapon durability is gone again. But weapon forging,
so it's like
forging is still a thing.
It's like Fates then.
Yeah, mini games to raise stats, and apparently there's some kind of mascot character which the leakers describes as being like very Fates design wise. I don't know who he's thinking of as the mascot character. Is he thinking of Lilith?
I think so.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of. So, I mean, Lilith is also blue, red, and white. So,
yeah,
like, yeah, it would fit, I suppose. I know that there's another character who's also got that same sort of hair color, who I think's a Wyvern Rider. I can't remember what their name is, but I guess they're probably related to the player in some way. But yeah, that's the Fire Emblem leak. I believe it personally. I think this is definitely.
Oh yeah,
totally
no.
legit.
From the amount of corroborating like stuff we've seen, it's real.
Yeah. So I guess it's a weird thing, right? Like some people are saying it would come out this year, and while some people argue that it won't because Fire Emblem Warriors is about to come out, but I was reminded that both Echoes and the first Fire Emblem Warriors game came out also in the same year. Although that was also 3DS and Switch. So maybe it was also 3DS and 3DS.
That was also 3DS though.
Yeah.
What was it? What was the
Warriors
time
on
for that
3DS.
though? Like when did those games come out within that year?
Echoes came out in May and Warriors came out in October.
See, I feel like that's a far more of enough time for that.
Between June,
I don't think there's enough
June
time.
and November. It's
Yeah.
just 1 month extra. That's the exact same amount of time.
The thing is that because I don't think there's a lot more. I think there's more stuff here in this year around, isn't there?
I mean,
because like we've
got Xenoblade in July, Splatoon
Xenoblade's
in
next year.
September, and Pokemon in November, and that's all we have.
Pokemon November. Well, no, because we also have from the games that we think is at least still coming out.
Well, I mean, we got
Bayonetta 3.
Bayonetta 3, which doesn't have a release date yet, but that's
but we know it's supposed to be this year.
Yeah, it's meant to be this year. Yeah,
Phantom. The year that we're talking about previously is 2017.
Yeah, what came? Oh, what? Breath of the Wild. It came out in March.
Mario Odyssey. Mario
Echoes
Kart,
was.
Arms.
You said Echoes was.
Echoes
March
was a month
or
before.
what?
Echoes was 2 weeks before Arms, 2 or 3 weeks before Arms. It was May. Echoes was the same month as Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
That's fucking.
Mario and Rabbids was also
re-release ish.
Mario and Rabbids was also in 2017. That was the August title. Mario and Rabbids 2 is supposedly this year as well. But
why am I asking? Let me just look at the schedule.
Yeah,
I forgot. We have the press website. I can just check the schedule right now.
2017. I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 came out like a month or so after Fire Emblem Warriors did.
So you said 2017 was that year, right?
Yeah, like Fire Emblem Warriors, Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and
there was a 5-month gap.
Yeah, and like Pokemon. Did Pokemon Let's Go come out in 2017 or was that 2018?
That was 2019. Oh no, my bad. 2018. Sorry, 2017 was Ultra Sun and Moon.
Yes. Yeah.
In 2017 we had. That's a Dragon Quest game, so I'm not gonna count that. Fire Emblem Heroes, that's a mobile game. Never mind.
Yeah.
Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World was February.
was
as well
3DS.
as well as Tank Troopers.
Yeah, I know you don't have to go through every single
Yeah.
game on,
Oh yeah.
on the list.
1-2 Switch March. Breath of the Wild was also March.
Yeah, well, it's the launch of the Switch. So.
Sports Superstars, Mario Sports Superstars. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was April. Fire Emblem Echoes was May. ARMS was June. Ever Oasis was also June. Splatoon 2 was July. Metroid Samus Returns was September. Pokken was also September. The Mario Superstar Saga was October. Fire Emblem Wars was also October. Odyssey was also October.
Yeah, see, look how many games play in October.
Yeah, and then Ultra Sun and Moon was November. And then Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was December.
Yeah,
December 1st.
I mean, this year is looking like a reflection of that. We're getting another Xenoblade. We're getting another Splatoon. The Mario Kart Booster Pass is coming out. There's that rumored 1-2 Switch game, which maybe we'll see at the Direct, or maybe is just gone for good because Nintendo doesn't know what they're doing with it.
I thought the whole rumor was that it's either going to be like it's like going to be like a Switch game in an essence of either 1-2 Switch or sports, and I thought it was already sports came out. I thought that was the rumor.
No. So 1-2 Switch, I'll do it as a little thing here. I don't think it's going to be there. But 1-2 Switch, everybody 1-2 Switch is what it's called, or everybody wants to 1-2 Switch, something like that. It's meant to be a sequel to 1-2 Switch. It's inspired by the Jackbox party games, where you actually use your mobile phone as the main way to play, and then someone will use the Joy-Con for whatever the mini game is that would be on the screen, and then everyone sort of uses their phone to actually answer. But apparently, it's just really freaking boring. Like all the games, all the mini games they've sort of chosen for 1-2 Switch. The new one is just apparently not fun. Most people were bored by the games.
Internal
ideas.
testers are calling it horse shit.
Yeah, like internal testers say it's bad. They did market research with the target demographic, like parents and children, and neither audience found it entertaining. And Nintendo was really baffled by this fact because it's seemingly no one during development was thinking, "Oh, this isn't very fun." It kind of makes me wonder, just knowing a bit of game dev, someone on the team must have thought this is very crap. But I'm not the target audience, so it's fine because the target audience was children and parents. And the director must have thought, oh, this is good. This is what parents and kids will play with each other. And no, they were all dead wrong. But they're in a weird position where they've made so much of the game that it's basically ready to release. So they don't. Part of the people who made the game, like the upper management, want to release it because they invested a whole bunch of money into it and the game is done. But other, like the brand managers and stuff at Nintendo, are terrified that the game will, like this, that they'll release a game that basically gets like 30 out of 100, 40 out of 100, and it will cause damage to the Switch brand, especially because it's got the name Switch in the title. So Nintendo doesn't know what to do with it. They've already apparently taken it back to the drawing board like 2 or 3 times now, and it's just been coming out bad every single time.
Perhaps they should just cancel it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Do they cancel it? Do they just release it as a free game on the eShop and just be like, fuck it, let's just get it out here and hope that it being free will mitigate some of it being bad?
What they'll do is that
Nintendo of Japan seems to be very against giving away stuff for free.
Yeah.
So it's in a weird limbo state. I don't think they've made a decision on it yet, so I don't think we will see it at the Nintendo Direct, but there's always a chance.
They should give up.
Yeah.
I think it's if all of that is true, I think it'd be in their best. I think it'd be their best interest if all of this wasn't true and they actually weren't making this game, because that story sounds horrible.
Yeah,
it sounds very painful.
It definitely is true. It fits into Nintendo's MO recently. I did a Twitter thread because of that stupid thread where people were being like, "Oh well, I wish they just wouldn't make Xenoblade and instead make F-Zero." Like,
yeah, I really want Monolith Soft and Intelligent Systems to make F-Zero instead of what they are specialized in doing.
It's baffling. But it made me take a look at like all the games Nintendo have been releasing like themselves. And eventually, other than Mario, which has been pretty consistent,
Yeah.
the only things that they've been releasing are weird sort of casual aimed at families Blue Ocean style games like Labo, Ring Fit Adventure, Big Brain Academy, and then like Splatoon and Animal Crossing. And then ports, just ports. Like Pikmin's there because it got a port. New Super Mario Brothers U is there because it got a port. Like that's basically been their MO. Mario and casual games with the occasional, when it's ready, Splatoon. Here's a Splatoon game. Here's an Animal Crossing game because they have dedicated teams. That's the same for Zelda, but they haven't released Breath of the Wild 2 yet. They spent so long making it. And 1-2 Switch, everybody Switch fits exactly into this weird casual MO that they're going for. The only two games they've released that don't fit this trend are ARMS in 2017 and then Sushi Strikers in 2018. And Sushi Strikers absolutely feels like a game from the past generation of Nintendo. that just happened to peter into the Switch's era.
Well, it was a 3DS game as well.
Yeah,
so.
well, it was originally only a 3DS game, and then they made a Switch version of it because they realized 3DS games weren't selling. And it's like super obvious because that game is clearly built for the 3DS. And it feels so much nicer to play on the 3DS than it does on the Switch. But yeah, speaking of Breath of the Wild 2, what are the chances we'll see that at the Nintendo Direct?
Everybody want to Switch or
No, Breath of the Wild 2.
oh yeah, we'll see it. Once again, on the trailer, I guess.
Yeah,
I think so. And then it'll be like, here's our spring 2023 release date. There you go.
do you think
It's gonna be that way. It's gonna be that window, not a date specifically.
Yeah. Matt, what about you?
If it's there, they won't show much substantial.
You think?
Unless it's like actually coming out in spring, which I'm still hesitant about.
I don't know. I think I disagree with you. I think we'll actually, this will be the first actual substantial look at the game. I at the very least think we'll find out whatever gimmick this game is meant to have. That's the reason they've been hiding the title all this time. Like, even if it's just that, I think that's substantial enough of an update for us. I think it kind of has to be there because they know it's the game that everyone is like really excited about. So I think that will be there. I also do think Bayonetta 3 will be there, as we brought up earlier, because they do need to have that game at this point. Yeah.
That I think
unless Bayonetta 3 doesn't come out this year.
Well, yeah, unless it's been delayed and again.
Well, the thing is that if that's the case, then they would just say at that point it is delayed.
Yeah, I think they have to give a update on it.
Yeah, because the next time they do a direct is September, right?
Yes, that's usually the case.
That's already at that point where it's like you should have already had like another trailer before that to say, okay, here's like just another trailer to remind you that this game is coming in like either another month or two, and there's already a release date. Yeah, you definitely have. This is the time to have another trailer for Bayonetta 3 to say that, is it still coming out this year, or to say that it's delayed.
Yeah, and honestly, Bayonetta 3 feels like a late September title to me.
Yeah.
So I feel like they'll want to have that confirmed now if it is coming out this year. I can't, unless it's December, I can't see Bayonetta 3 sort of slotting into October or November. And
I think it'll be October,
actually. They won't want it coming out at the same time as Splatoon 3. So.
Well, it'll be, if October would be after Splatoon 3. It'd be like between Splatoon 3 and between Pokemon.
I mean, early September they probably won't want. So I guess it could be early October, late September.
Like October, early October, or mid October, maybe.
Yeah.
Because Splatoon is early October, early September, right?
No reason to think that. So just a gut feeling.
Yeah. They are hiding the title of Breath of the Wild 2 because of story reasons. It's going to be something related to Two Links, mark my words.
Probably, but that's something that they have to reveal before the game comes out. They can't just have sequel to Breath of the Wild be the name of the game up until launch.
Yeah.
So
what they do.
It can't be that big of a spoiler. It's got to be more of a gimmick gameplay spoiler that they're holding on. That's the reason they're holding on for. What else could we see at this Nintendo Direct? In the spirit of Colin, let's talk about GoldenEye.
Oh man.
Yeah, GoldenEye. GoldenEye was supposed to be like now, but then things happened.
Yeah. I think as it was pointed out on Twitter, as we have now come to the end in the West of the Nintendo 64 NSO lineup, now will be a good time to announce GoldenEye and bring it to NSO. Japan still has 2 more, Custom Robo V1 and V2. And I'm very curious to see what happens when they get them, if we get anything at all. I would hope so.
We still got like Banjo-Tooie, right?
No, Banjo-Tooie hasn't been confirmed. Only Banjo-Kazooie was confirmed.
No, I mean like in terms of games that are left.
Oh, I mean, there's
Still see.
there's plenty of 64 games left that they can add, even from Nintendo. It's
But
just
like the initial they announced.
no, but I'm pretty sure they didn't announce Banjo-Tooie initially.
No, they
Yeah,
didn't.
that wasn't announced.
They didn't.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah.
they didn't.
So I mean,
Everything
they can
that was
release-
announced is already out now.
Yeah, yeah. That's my point. So they have to either announce the
Right.
next set of games
Okay.
that are going to be
Yeah.
the next lineup of 64 games, or now is a good time to start doing these monthly, or have like GoldenEye be the next one because that's been rumored for so long now. This would be a good place to announce it.
Hopefully that's what I think that's what they will do. They'll announce like here's the next 7 titles for 64,
Yeah,
and then like 2 of them are gonna be like, oh wow, that game, haha, that game sucks, and the rest will be like, oh wow, we love that game. That's how the fans will take it. Like, oh wow.
Yo,
Oh,
Quest
wait.
64?
Quest 64.
Wait, did Resident Evil release on Resident Evil 2 release
Resident
on
Evil 2 released on 64.
Yeah, I think that'll be one of the games. I think that'd be really cool.
It's all about Gex Enter the Gecko.
Yeah, Resident Evil 2, GoldenEye,
3D.
Gex, and then those are 3 games that I think will be there.
Cruis'n USA might potentially be on there. I was trying to think of what they would do if Custom Robo comes out, what they're going to do for the West, and I was looking at a list of games that only released in the West, and like Pokemon Puzzle League is one of them. The Cruis'n series didn't release in Japan, and I think Cruis'n USA is one of those ones people really liked on Nintendo 64, and it's one that Nintendo like owns basically all of because of Midway going under, so they could easily drop the Cruis'n USA onto the Western NSO app when Japan gets Custom Robo.
But they could also pull it on Nintendo and be like, it's so easy, why would we do it?
Yeah, I mean, they could pull Nintendo and not give us anything for 2 months as Japan gets
That is true as well.
to both Custom Robo games, and that would suck. But, yeah, well, Colin says in the chat that he's convinced that if GoldenEye is real, we'd get the remaster on Switch and not just the ROM. Which, I mean, yeah, I think that's totally possible. Given that it's going to come to Xbox, presumably as a game that you have to buy unless you have Game Pass. I guess so. I guess we'll just have to see. But
Yeah.
I think now is a good time to show that off, or at least show off what the next N64 games will be. And one of those N64 games, I think, will be Mischief Makers, because Treasure basically said when NSO got announced and Sin and Punishment was there that they've like basically approved to have their entire back catalogue of 64 games on this service. And they only made 3 64 games. Sin and Punishment, Mischief Makers, and Bang.io. So I expect all 3 of them to come at some point. And Mischief Makers at least got released worldwide, unlike Bang.io. So I could totally see that being one of the next set. Which would be cool, because Mischief Makers is a fun game. So yeah, that's the Nintendo. That's Nintendo 64. Either of you got any predictions for what you think we might see? Because I think I've been given them all so far.
I think I'm not probably another story-ish trailer for Splatoon 3. I think they'll show off more maps because so far we only have three new maps confirmed or something like that. I
Okay.
think they'll probably show off like two new ones and maybe like an old one as well. Hopefully it's more Ray Towers because I love that stage. New weapons as well. Yeah, like they'll show new Splatoon things. Bayonetta, I'm expecting an October release, if not delayed. Advance Wars, I think maybe now, hopefully, maybe they'll show it off now. Be like, hey, here's a new date, because that was very unfortunate timing for them. Um, and now it's like, okay, well, you guys still gotta release it eventually. Um, I think the third party aspect, uh, maybe because Silk Song got shown on Xbox, they'll also show it again here and just say, hey, it's coming soon. Or they'll be like, hey, or I doubt they'll give a release window, like a year window, but I think they'll just be like, hey, it's coming. I think Square Enix, it's something, has something that's not Crisis Core. I think it'll be like another. For some reason, I was thinking about this like 2 days ago. I was like, what if they like do what the Final Fantasy Explorers 2? So yeah, for some reason that's been on my mind. So like, I think they'll just do something very strange like that, and it'll be very weird but also fun. Um, what else? I don't think Capcom really has anything else because they had that arcade stadium too that already got announced. Fighting Collection is literally coming out this week.
There's a Resident Evil game that was leaked for the Switch that may or may not still be being developed.
What is it called?
I don't
know.
remember. I think it was Outrage.
Yeah, it's the one that people were saying was meant to be
Oh,
like a sequel, Resident Revelations 3, basically.
Yeah, a third Revelations game.
Yeah, but it wasn't called
yeah.
Revelations. Some people have said that's been cancelled. Some people have not. Yep.
Yeah.
If we're
I
talking
remember
about
hearing
room,
about
if we're
that.
talking about room and stuff, Metroid Prime.
Yeah,
Remake.
there's a Metroid Prime remake, which is
Supposedly.
really funny.
That
because
is
That's not a good sign.
people have been expecting trilogy for the longest time, and if
What
they just get Metroid Prime 1, I wonder what the reaction to that's going to be.
It'll be Metroid Prime 1 remake, and then the other two are remastered.
No, Metroid Prime remake and then nothing for the other
No,
two.
I'm saying that's what will happen. You get to buy one remake, and that is $60, and then you have to buy 2 and 3, and that is to get together also for $60.
No, I don't
I
think
think
that's
that I
at
think
that
that'll
point.
be
At that
funny.
point, I think it's going to be all three separate, but the first one's the only one that's a
Nope.
remake, and the other two are remasters.
Each for 60.
Yes, that's the Nintendo way. It
That's
shouldn't
the
be
Nintendo
that,
way.
but that's the
That's
Nintendo
not
way.
what they'll actually do. They won't actually do that though.
No, all right. We'll
No,
circle
they
back to
won't.
this when it happens.
They won't. They won't.
I'm
They won't.
holding you to this.
I trust me. They won't. $40 they'll probably do. That's not 60.
Nah,
Absolutely not.
Anyway.
They're not gonna release two. Be like, hey, here's all of these. Here's 3 Metroid Prime games. One of them is a remake, which of course will be 60, and then another two, like, okay, here's the remastered version.
I mean, they won't.
We expect you to buy all of them.
All 3 of them
And
won't
but
be
it's
in the
really-
Nintendo Direct. Only the first one will be in the Nintendo Direct.
Nah, they're all gonna
And
be
then
there.
after the first one has come out, the second one will be announced, but it'll be a remaster
Hello.
and not a remake. And then
We are
Nah,
here
they'll
to bring
announce
you
all
a
of them now.
remake of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. That'll be $60 each. Also, the double pack is $120.
yes.
That's different.
Also, here is Pokemon Legends like, at the same time.
Yeah.
That's different. That's different. You don't understand. That's different.
Yeah, sure. We'll find out.
It is different though.
We'll see. Metroid Prime. I see. This is the thing. Because of the rumors of a Metroid Prime remaster, I just don't see them showing off anything Metroid Prime 4 related. In the same way that I feel like they're waiting until Fire Emblem is out before showing off the new Fire Emblem. I feel like they wouldn't want to be like, here's a Metroid Prime 1 remake, and here is a new Metroid Prime game at the same time. It just feels like that everyone will be so focused on the new game that people won't focus on the remake. And the remake is something that I am willing to sort of like argue against in the same way that I am with like feeling like the Resident Evil 4 remake isn't needed. I don't feel like a Metroid Prime remake is needed. Remaster, sure, like upgrade the graphics and just release the game on the Switch as part of the trilogy, but like a full remake feels like a waste of money to me. Because the first one's not bad by any stretch of the imagination.
The only problem with the original Metroid Prime is that it didn't finish it.
Yeah, but I don't feel like a remake is going to add the finished stuff into it. I think it's going to be very faithful to what was released.
Don't just go Metroid Prime 4.
I
I
mean,
think it's at this point. I no, that's what I hope they do. I don't know about what I think they'll do. I just want them to show Metroid Prime 4.
yeah, I mean, I want them to show Metroid Prime 4. I don't want a Metroid Prime 1 remake because I feel like if they do a Metroid Prime 1 remake and it's just like, released on its own, they have to re-release Metroid Prime 2 and 3 before 4 because otherwise there's just a big, huge gap between Metroid Prime 1 and then Metroid Prime 4. And it feels like the whole reason of doing this is to get people like excited for Metroid Prime 4 because it's been so long since the last mainline one. But also, they're not going to release all 3 games at the same time.
Nope.
Unless they were selling them together as a trilogy, which it seems like they're not going to do. So it's like we'll get Metroid Prime 1 this year, and then Metroid Prime 2 at the start of next year, and then Metroid Prime 3 at the end of next year or whatever. So we wouldn't see anything about Metroid Prime 4 until like 2024. Which just I don't know. I would much rather they didn't remake these 3 games and just gave us Metroid Prime 4 now, or better yet, remake Hunters instead, because if there's any game that needs a remake from the Metroid Prime series, it's Hunters, and given that Silex is probably going to be important in Prime 4, it makes more sense to release that game now.
Most of that game is just multiplayer maps. There's no salvaging that game.
No, that game is a game that needs a remake. Like that game is enjoyable, but could be much better if it wasn't on frickin' DS. I don't know, and considering that game seems to be so seeing as that's the game that introduced Silex and he's so important in this new Metroid Prime 4, when it would make more sense to get people excited for Metroid Prime 4 by showing us where Silex came from.
We finally see the fabled Pikmin 4.
No, probably not. At this point, I'm convinced that Pikmin 4 was just Hey You Pikmin.
That's what I think of Pikmin 4 we can was it that. What's the name of that? Pikmin Bloom? Is that what it's called?
That's the mobile game.
Yeah, I think that's what Pikmin 4 is.
That's definitely not what Pikmin 4 is. But...
No, it is. It turned into it. They were like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to make a console game anymore. I want to make a mobile game. I want Pikmin to be everywhere. And that was Miyamoto's vision.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think that Pikmin Bloom would have been Pikmin 4. If anything, it would have been Hey Pikmin. Or
absolutely not.
Or Miyamoto just doesn't know what he's talking about, because it wouldn't surprise me if Metroid. I keep saying Metroid. If Pikmin 4 was in development or being like play tested or something like that, and it just wasn't ready to come out, or they just hadn't solidified an idea for it yet.
I'm sure it wasn't ready to come out 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, clearly something went wrong with it. But
or just put it on the back burner. It could also be that they go like, oh, it's actually going fine. We just stopped caring. We just took a break. And he was like, well, let's do something else.
I can't imagine that would be the case.
That'd be really funny though. Like, you know, this is actually going really well, but it was going so well. It was like, you know what? We're having too much fun. Let's take a break. Let's do something else to stop ourselves from having as much fun. And then when we come back to this game, we'll be like, wow, this is the most fun we've ever had developing a game, and then we'll release it when we're ready.
Well, on the topic of Pikmin, because it's made by EBD10, Nintendo's 10th team, who are also the ones who make 2D Mario and made Mario Maker and stuff. I feel like it's time for a 2D Mario game again to come back. Because that team hasn't released anything in fucking ages. They had the port of Pikmin 3, but that was definitely just a small part of that team. And they had Mario Maker 2 was the last full new game they released. And that was back in 2019? Was it? 2018? Mario Maker 2? Something like
Mario
that.
Maker 2 was...
Mario Maker 2 was 2019, right?
Yeah, I think it was 2019. Let me check.
Yeah, well, either way, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
We obviously, I guess they did port New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, but again, other than adding Peach, I didn't really think they did a lot new to that game. 2D is definitely not done for Mario. The 2D series still sells better than any of the other Mario series, so there's absolutely
Still sells better
no...
than Mario Maker, so
Yeah, there's absolutely
the
no way it's done.
the idea that Maker just replaces 2D Mario in general doesn't really hold water
That's
because
happen.
No.
there's so much they can do with a like custom made 2D Mario game that you can't do in Maker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing though. I do feel like the reason it's been so long since we've gotten a new 2D Mario game is because they are going to visually step it away from the new Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, it's gonna look like
God.
the 3D World skin.
Yeah,
of Mario
it will look
Maker
more
2.
like 3D World than new Super Mario Brothers. But I feel like, yeah, I feel like they realize that after 4 games of very similar looking aesthetics and play styles, that people were just starting to get a little bored of it, even if it was still selling. Mario Maker was a good step away from that. To like a good distraction for a bit to get some more 2D Mario out there, but I think they're ready to change up the visuals once again, because I think it's pretty like noticeable when you look at Mario Maker and it's got all the 2D styles, and it's so Super Mario Brothers 1, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, they're all like really unique looking, and then new Super Mario Brothers style is unique looking to them, but there have been 4 games that look like this. And they can't make any new styles. Having it potentially go 3D World visually, but still be a 2D game, that totally could be the direction they could take it. Or they could go for something more stylized, I guess. We'll see. The dream would be having it look like the 2D vector art, but I don't think they'll go that far. I don't think they'd go to that extreme.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be 3D models. But you could, even just with the animations for Mario running and jumping and reacting to stuff and landing on things, you can make it so much more expressive than it has been in the new Super Mario Brothers games. And that would do a lot for the visual style, I think. And then just like, if you're going to have the grass, ice, desert levels, make them more interesting than just make them less generic, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's time for a new 2D Mario game. So that's something I could see, especially with the movie coming up. Also, keep like, if the Koopalings have to be in it, just make them sub bosses. Don't make them the regular bosses. I think that's easily part of the blame for why the new Super Mario Brothers series started feeling really repetitive.
Make them the final boss? Okay.
No, not the final. I mean, unless you want to have all 7 of them as the final
You have to
boss.
fight all 7 of them in one giant mechanism.
I mean, I would prefer that than I would prefer that than having one be the final boss of every level. Because they're just not like, even if the boss fights are different, they're not visually distinct enough for it to like really be that interesting. Which is why I feel like them 7 and Bowser Jr. would all be really good as like the halfway world boss, like the sub boss, rather than just having it be Bowser Jr. every single time.
Yeah.
Like, you just add a bit more variation, which is what the 2D games lacked. But yeah, I think a new 2D Mario would be good. It'd also be interesting to see if they made Peach playable or not.
Please.
No, because Peachette is effectively that, and the only reason they did Peachette instead of Peach is because Peach was kidnapped, and so story-wise, it wouldn't make sense to. So they made an entire power-up just for Toadette, just so they could add Peach to the game as a playable character. Without that limitation, I feel like Peach being added as a playable character is very likely, especially with 3D World as well already doing that. I just think that's what I would expect. If there's any sort of Mario game at Nintendo's Direct, I think 2D Mario is going to be it.
Bring back Blue Toad.
Yeah, bring.
I know he's in Deluxe, but like you have to go out of your way to get him.
Would prefer Blue Toad to Yellow Toad. Agreed there.
Yeah.
There was
a listing on a website somewhere for Persona 5 Royal
Oh,
on the
yeah.
Nintendo Switch.
I saw that listing.
Yeah,
Pre-order or
I
something.
I hope it happens.
Yeah,
I would
same.
like it to happen.
Same. I want that Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 Portable all to come to Switch.
If people
It'll
were
be the
saying like,
only place where them still calling it Persona 3 Portable makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah, if people are like, well, maybe they're just like waiting until the direct to announce it. I'm like, maybe
I mean, it's possible, but
I want to hope, but part of me
yeah.
is like, "Oh, I don't know. At this point, it's like if they don't do it, I'm more concerned like what Alice is cooking right now. Like, what are you thinking? But if they do it, that's great. If they
Mhm.
don't do it, I I don't know. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
All right. There's a few more rumored things. I guess. 2D Donkey Kong is obviously a rumor that's happened for a while now. At this
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
that's also meant to be this year. This is what the Odyssey team has been working on.
I could believe that's coming out this year if it's real.
Yeah, I guess I could see a Donkey Kong game by them. Like they did Jungle Beat after all. So I could totally see that potentially being a thing. I mean, this would be the place to announce it, E3.
Yeah.
Not a rumor actually, but Advance Wars. It'd be nice to get an update on that. They may still not want to do one for the reason that they cancelled the game or delayed the game, but it's currently just sitting in a weird limbo space. And E3 is usually, I mean, it's not E3, so, but this direct is usually handled by the Western side. So
isn't the first enemy you face in Advance Wars 1 Russia?
yes, it is.
Oh boy.
The blue guys are meant to be Russia. They're more Russia in the American version, ironically, than the Japanese version, where he's more like Santa Claus. I'm pretty sure. Or have I got that mixed up the wrong way around? I can't actually remember. I'm gonna look him up. But yeah, no, I mean that it totally made sense why they delayed that game. I know it's in a really awkward place because I'm sure everyone wants it to be released, but they also sort of know that they can't.
Yeah.
It's his color changes that make him look like Santa Claus, right? But yeah, it'd be nice to get an update on that, but I guess that's up to Nintendo. But the other rumored game is supposedly, this is a relatively new rumor. Intelligent Systems is working on Mario and Luigi now that Alpha Dream is gone.
Dead.
Yeah, like supposedly Nintendo felt like, given that they were already working on the Paper Mario series, it would probably just make sense for Intelligent Systems to take both of them.
That'd be really funny given the Twitter thread.
Why
isn't Intelligent Systems making this game that hasn't come out on Switch? Oh, they are? Wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, mitigate. I don't know how much I believe this. The rumor is apparently it's a remake of Partners in Time. Apparently, that's what Alpha Dream were originally starting before they then went under.
I see.
I guess, presumably, obviously for Switch. But the project
Partners in Time needs a bit of work to be on one screen.
I mean, I've got like two problems with this. The first is that it takes a lot of work to be on one screen because more than any of them, the Mario and Luigi games, I feel like Partners in Time was the most to make use of the like DS's gimmick, the dual screen gimmick, because it was the first one. So like the battles take place over two screens and like in a way that they couldn't just cut between the two. Like I think you could do theoretically with the Mario and Luigi 3 if they had to cut that down to one screen. So yeah, I just find that I just don't know if I necessarily believe that for that reason. But also like I feel like it's not really Nintendo's usual thing to take a project from one developer and give it to another, even if it's Mario. I mean, part of the whole point of that Twitter thread was to say, like, these companies work on their own sort of games. The reason we don't get, like, another Golden Sun is purely because Camelot doesn't want to make a new Golden Sun, and
Yep.
it's more profitable for them to make Mario sports games. It's not Nintendo mandating that they have to make Mario sports games. So, for rumor to sort of state, oh, well, Nintendo is asking Intelligent Systems to make a Mario and Luigi game because they still want them, even though the original developer clearly went bankrupt because they weren't selling, seems very counterintuitive, especially if it's just continuing on from the work that Alpha Dream was supposedly doing.
I think it makes sense if they are like well familiar of the reason why the last game failed.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bowser's Inside Story remake was a very special case.
Even then, I feel like Paper Jam didn't sell very well, and then the Mario and Luigi.
Paper Jam sold well enough, didn't it?
I don't think it did. I thought it sold worse than Dream Team did.
I'll look.
I don't remember.
Either way, I think. I'm just having a look. Yeah, no. Apparently, Paper Jam sold worse than Dream Team.
Holy hell! Bowser's Inside Story really did come out in 2019.
Yeah, yeah. It came out in 2019 and just fucking died 1,000
Wait, that
deaths.
came out 2019?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like every game in the Mario and Luigi series has sold consecutively worse since Bowser's Inside Story. Like that game sold really, really well, and then Dream Team didn't sell as well, but still did decent enough. And then the remake, then Paper Jam came out and sold about half of what Dream Team did. And then the remake, they tried to remake Mario and Luigi 1, and it was received well, but less people bought that than they did Paper Jam.
Yeah. That's also the risk of doing this with a remake.
Yeah, that's my other problem. I feel like if you're going to give the Mario and Luigi IP to a new developer, you should just be letting them do what they want to do with it and make their own take on it, and not force them to do a remake of a game. It's just weird to me. There's just a lot about the rumor that just doesn't sort of make sense. I wouldn't mind seeing it. I like the Mario and Luigi games, and I think Intelligent Systems could do them really well. And I totally understand the logic behind giving it to Intelligent Systems. It's just everything else seems either very un-Nintendo-like or just seems like it just seems like a fake rumor.
I mean, I don't think it's real, but if it were to be real, perhaps the mindset is, oh, let them do a game that is already existent to see how they end up doing it, and then if they do that successfully, then let them do their own thing.
I mean, I suppose if that was it, I'd sort of get that if it was a new developer, but the fact that it's Intelligent Systems and the reason they're giving it to Intelligent Systems is because of their success with the Paper Mario RPG series and stuff, that they just don't want to make RPGs anymore. It's kind of like you trust them enough that you're willing to give them the IP, so why wouldn't you just let them make their own story and stuff, right?
Yes.
But yeah,
I mean, want to play it safe.
It's Intelligent Systems output has been weird on the Switch, so it's really kind of hard to judge when anything they would release. Like they released WarioWare last year, but there's no way their entire team was working on WarioWare. And while they are releasing Fire Emblem games, they're doing them in collaboration with other studios, so clearly it's not taking up all their time. They're not involved in Advance Wars and Paper Mario. Origami King, was that 2019?
That was 20. Oh, was that 2020 actually?
I actually don't remember.
I think that was 2020.
2020, yes, it was. It was 2020. So, I mean, 2020 was 2 years ago. That team could have potentially be at a stage where they could show off a game. Even if it's just a game that's meant to come out next year, 2023. Because Nintendo does do that in their June Directs usually. Like, remember Kirby was revealed when given a 2023 release date in the June Direct, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. when Splatoon 3 was that announced? No wait, I can't remember when that was announced. I think that was
Splatoon
like a February
3.
one actually. But
I
still
think that
announced
was
for
a
a year
February
later.
one.
So.
Something like that.
But yeah. Anyway, that maybe could be the other Mario thing, a Mario and Luigi game, but I'm not 100% sold on that rumor. But yeah, anything else that we think we might see? Oh, I mean, the Mario Kart Booster Pass, of course. We'll definitely
yeah.
get that. That's like
Yeah.
a given. It'd be neat if it
Uh,
shadow dropped, but I expect it to come out in August instead.
Anybody have anything third party wise? Because that's where I'm more interested at this point. I feel like seeing what Nintendo does, like, yeah, the Nintendo will definitely do that because it seems like what they either already had announced and they just need to show it off again, or mostly based off rumors. But for third party wise, is there anything else?
um,
Because Square Enix always has something at a Nintendo Direct, at least 5 things.
no, yeah, I mean, Square
Something
Enix
like
does
that.
usually have a lot, but
Yeah,
it's whether they announce anything new. Like they announced the Tactics Ogre remake, didn't they, recently?
that's a rumor, I think.
No, they announced it. I'm pretty sure.
They had announced?
I'm pretty sure they announced the Tactics Ogre
I
remake.
thought that was still, I thought that was like leaked slash rumored.
I mean, I
I
think
think
it
that got
was
leaked.
originally, but yeah,
It leaked.
Tactics Ogre
it leaked.
Reborn.
Was that revealed?
It was in a play. Oh, I guess it was a leak. It was in a PlayStation Store listing.
Oh yeah, so yeah, okay, yeah. So
Well,
it was
then
leaked.
that's definitely being there because if that hasn't been shown off yet, that's exactly the sort of thing that Nintendo would have in their direct.
Yep.
Yeah, Tactics Ogre remake, and maybe the Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake could be shown
Yeah,
off as well.
I would love to see that.
So we just
'Cause
haven't
that
had an
is.
update on that, and Dragon Quest is definitely more of a Nintendo thing than Final Fantasy
Mhm.
is.
Um, any other third party desk? You
I
said
mean,
Capcom had Resident Evil Outbreak or whatever it was called.
yeah,
Outrage.
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 I can't see anything else.
Ace Attorney 7.
Yeah.
Cool.
I wish it would be Ace Attorney 7. I don't know if I see it, but it'd be great. If it's anything from Capcom, I feel like it would either be Ace Attorney or Mega Man related.
This
But I'm not convinced on either of them, personally.
Mega Man is gonna get like, and Capcom's 15th. Wait, hold on, wait, my bad. Well, that I just made a crazy. I'm about to make a crazy statement. Never mind, I take it
Do
back.
it.
I was gonna say, what I was gonna say on Capcom's 15th anniversary, they'll announce a Mega Man game, and I was like, wait a minute, no, that was Dragon Dogma's 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
That is not Capcom's 10th anniversary. So yeah, that does not make sense. I think like Mega Man 11 though, because if they're gonna do a new Mega Man game, I think it'll be on its own stream. I think if they're gonna do like finally, hey, here's Battle Network Legacy Collection or whatever,
Mhm.
that should be here because of course those games were on
Yeah,
the Game Boy.
that's a good. Yeah, that makes sense. What about like a Mega Man Cross Dive port to consoles?
I don't know if that's. It's on PC. I don't remember
Yeah,
if
it's
that
on
was
Steam.
planning
Yeah.
to be on Switch though. I
I
feel like
don't
I
know.
heard
I
something
don't know if
about
it was
that.
planning or not, but the fact that
Yeah,
it's
I
on
can't
Steam
remember.
and is off mobile means there's no reason why they think they couldn't bring it to Switch or other consoles.
I don't think. Well, I think it's no, they
Um,
won't.
there was another game I
'Cause-
was going to
you-
say, and it's completely left my mind. God damn it.
won't do?
Let me see if I can rewind my memory and remember
Uh,
what it was.
uh,
No, I've lost it.
They'll
Damn.
port Among Us VR to Switch.
Oh
For
yeah,
Labo,
let's get that Labo
yeah.
VR working.
Actually, should that'd be funny. Um, let's come on.
It's gonna really bother me. I feel like it's the sort of thing where we'll end the stream and then I'll suddenly remember it.
Do you
Be
like
like,
have
"Oh,
any remember
no."
like traces of what it was like
that
related
was it.
to?
I remembered it. Yes, I remembered. Do you think we will see Wind Waker HD or Twilight Princess HD?
Listen. Okay,
No.
so there needs to be a Zelda game this year. They've had a Zelda thing every year.
Yeah.
If anything is this year, it's probably that or a new 2D game.
Mhm.
if it's that, I really hope in my heart of hearts that it is a 3D All Stars type situation.
Oh, okay.
Oh, like
where it's the
Ocarina
original
Majora.
versions
Oh.
emulated.
I don't think it will be that.
Oh, well, wait. Oh, you mean of Twilight Princess?
Yeah, rather than
Wind Waker?
using the existing HD games they already have, they would just have an emulator that's with upscaled versions of Wind Waker and Twilight
wait,
Princess.
which version of Twilight Princess would they use?
Well, the original
GameCube.
ROM, the GameCube one.
No, I mean like the GameCube version, not the Wii version.
Yeah, they wouldn't use the Wii one; they'd use the GameCube one.
Okay.
But I don't see that happening, I'm afraid.
I don't know. I feel like those games are bigger than what. Well, granted, I'm kind of speaking out my ass here because, of course, I haven't really played 3D Mario games that much. But like, those are those games like not like bigger in the sense of like scope in comparison to like Mario 64, Mario Sunshine?
Oh yeah, of course they are.
Yeah, and do you mean just those two, or do you mean like there's gonna be like 3 games?
Oh no, I don't mean in a collection. I just mean
He just
Okay.
wants it to be
Emulated.
emulated instead of being the
Okay.
HD version.
I thought you meant they'd be in a collection together. That's what I thought you
no. People really want them to be a double pack, $60 double pack. I want them to be
way, that's not
$60 separate. I
You
think
want-
that'd be really fucking funny.
said. Yeah, that's what Nintendo would do. I think it. I mean, well, at that point, there wouldn't be just like it wouldn't be the original ROMs. They'd actually would be like, oh, here's like we'll expand the screen, and of course they got to change the control so that way it actually is. They'll be like, okay, it is $60 now, each separately. Pay up, and also here's an amiibo.
Yeah, I see. I feel.
Oh
like
man, new amiibo.
new amiibo as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they would probably they might actually put Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD together, just because of how sort of associated those two games are, both together and in their remake and all that. But I also just think it will be the HD versions, just very quickly and easily slapped onto the Switch, and that will be why. Because that'll also allow them to get both of them out together. Because I don't feel like they'll release. I mean, maybe they'll release Wind Waker HD this year and then Twilight Princess HD in like 2 or 3 years. But I feel like it makes more sense to just push them both out together. Who knows?
Oh, also in this presentation, we'll see you'll get the announcement of Daisy for Strikers.
Oh yeah.
You'll get the exact date for golf and Switch Sports. And then also we'll get 2 other things. We'll get, instead of getting the actual Persona games that we want, we'll get Persona Q2 on Switch instead.
No.
And then and then also we'll actually get a full story with some gameplay as well. Sonic Frontiers trailer.
Not so.
I want a full. Like I've been happy with the way Sonic Frontiers has been going because I find it very interesting. But I also do actually want to see a trailer of like what the actual intended story.
Yeah, I mean,
like I said,
would
to be
like
not
to
just
see
from description.
a good look at that game.
Hey, we have seen some good looks at that game.
I want to see good.
We have.
at that game.
Come on, didn't you like seeing that Summer Game Fest screen?
No.
In the background of other videos.
Man, I really enjoyed that Sonic Frontiers footage when he fucking careened off the cliff.
Yep. Fantastic.
Yeah. I'm all the things that I'm hearing about Sonic Frontiers from like all the like the what's it called? I guess impressions like that people got to actually play the game. I'm so genuinely excited for. I'll be honest. That with Sonic Forces, the more I saw the game, I was like, I think it'll be good. I hope. But for this time, I'm actually like, oh wait, this is all sounding very, very interesting. Very like, okay, I am actively, positively thinking that this game actually is very good instead of just coping with the fact that, oh god, this is gonna suck, isn't it?
Well,
I think that's all I have in terms of impressions. I can't think of anything else. Definitely gonna be a lot of surprise stuff that we didn't even consider that end up getting announced. Like fucking like what the Forever Entertainment pulling out another remake out of nowhere, even though they're already working on like Front Mission and Front Mission 2 and something else. I think they were working on something else.
yeah. I mean, I could see the Forever Entertainment game being announced just because we already know that Nintendo made an agreement with them.
Yup.
So it wouldn't surprise me if
Which
we
is still
saw
very
it.
crazy. I still can't believe that. That is such a strange situation. We're going to do a partnership with this company that is going to be making remakes of other people's games.
They're just very consistently making remakes of like B and C tier games for the Switch.
Yeah.
And Nintendo has plenty of them that they could easily release. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe they'll do the Partners in Time remake. You never know. Maybe it'll be them.
That would be cool. I hope so.
That'd be crazy.
I mean, actually, no. Wait, I take that back. I don't hope so because I don't think Forever Entertainment is actually that great. But and I don't think Partners in Time really fits their MO for the games
Nope.
they make.
Yeah.
But yes. Anything else, or should we start closing off this stream because we're hitting the 2.5-hour mark?
Yeah, I don't. There's like, of course, like there's always gonna be things that I love to see, like more Vanillaware games being on Switch because those games look absolutely amazing. I don't think it happen. I don't think that's something I really. That's bad.
Yep.
Slink.
Yep, Matt. Anything?
Got nothing else.
Cool.
All
right then. Well, thank you everybody for watching the stream. Let us know what any predictions you've got or anything like that. The next stream, I'm not here next Sunday, so I don't know if there'll be a Good Morning Source gaming or not. That's up to these two to decide. But we will be back for the Nintendo Direct stream that will probably be on the 29th of June. And then we can see how many of these we got right and how many we got wrong. So, yes.
Or it'll be surprisingly a Nintendo Direct that drops tomorrow.
Yeah, it just suddenly drops out of nowhere.
Yep. Oh man.
Oh man. All right. Well, anyway, latest everyone. Have a good
Bye.
Sunday.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Wednesday.